found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week.
Wherever you go, you can listen to the news. You can sleep with the blues on this wonderful, wonderful station. Just take a lively companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio. Take a portable radio.
Now, here comes the music.
And at this point, it's a solo song. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome. It's The Show. It's a Tuesday night. I am Clayton McKee, all alone in the studio. Oh, there's Al. Al just got here. Al just walked in the door. But I just decided, I can't keep the listener or listeners waiting anymore. So we decided just to start it. It's a Tuesday night. Kent Carlson is out tonight. Marnie is probably somewhere between home and here, maybe. And Al Perkins just arrived. So I think we're going to make a do of it. Hi, everybody. Let's see. Joe's in the chat room and me. And that's it at this point so far. So I think my mom is probably out there somewhere. Just a guess. Oh, Lord. Well, hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to our little extravaganza we do every Tuesday night. I am it at this point. As soon as Al gets squared away, he's got a bottle of wine to open. He's got things to do. Finishing a meeting. I don't know. I think that's bullshit. Maybe, I'm sure. I don't know where the hell you had a meeting. Very busy, though. What in the hell is that talking to me? Oh, he's still doing a meeting. Never mind. I guess it's doing a phone call meeting. I can hear him I can hear it in the other room. But anyway, Saved by the Bell, Joe. I'm not sure about that. Hi, Mom. She's in the chat room. I'm eating a lovely bowl of grapes, and I have club crackers and peanut butter are my snacks for tonight's show, though I have been drinking coffee for 2.5 hours, so there's a very good chance that I'm just going to be wired for the rest of the night. Not really sure. Oh, Marnie just texted just in. She's just coming up to Campbell on 7th Avenue, so she's, I don't know, she's just a couple minutes away, but who knows how much stuff she's going to move in with her when she arrives, because she likes to move in for some reason. Not really sure why. Heaven, the sound of eating grapes, I'm sure, is exciting for everybody. When nobody else is here to fill in the show, it's difficult to have a snack while everybody else is, when they're talking, it's easier to do it. Kat Carlson had some sort of an issue with children, she said. I think there's a teenage issue she's got still going with. We've talked about that in previous shows. So that's going on with her. Marnie's on normal time. I was hoping to have a family member with us tonight on the show. My cousin, who is often in the chat room, his wife, Stacy, is in town for a corporate thing. Her company not only has their main offices are in my hometown of Joplin, Missouri, but they have a warehouse here in Phoenix. So she's here for the week doing some work with them. So fortunately, I'm having dinner with her tomorrow night with my mom. But we were going to try to get her here this evening, but her work schedule did not permit. So that's another thing. And for some reason, though her office is on this side of town where I am, they've got her in a hotel on Clear and Tempe on the other side of the valley, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. I guess they'll do what they got to do. Joe says in the chat room I should have some virtual cast members as backups. I need to get the dock for my phone so that I can take calls on the air. And if I can't do it with my own phone, I may have to have a phone line installed here at the house just so that I can do that, because that could be fun. Have an actual landline so we could take calls, because that would be cool, especially if we could take calls from the other side of the world where other members of the audience listen from all the other countries, because I think that would be a lot of fun. Is your meeting done?
Yes.
Oh my God!
So sorry about that.
Teleconference?
Yes.
Wow.
And I took an Uber in the middle of it.
Oh.
And I was like, please don't say anything private.
Well.
Because I can't find my headphones, so I had to keep it on speaker.
I see.
My headphones are somewhere.
Wherever you left them last is where they are.
Yeah, and I didn't think about the fact that I was in a meeting till the last second, or I would have started looking for them earlier. Mm-hmm. And then I realized I really don't wear my headphones very much anymore. That's kind of odd. Not
anymore. I rarely wear earbuds, but occasionally I've got a big set like this that are wireless that I'll occasionally listen to music on, because it's just me and everybody else is get the hell out of my head.
And I have 18 pairs, and the thing, it's just that little piece for the new iPhones,
for the newer ones,
the adapter. So I know it's in the house somewhere.
Right.
Or they're in Albuquerque. I was trying to think
potentially in your car.
Yeah, I think I looked
traveled.
Yeah, but it was very rushed. As I was listening, and
here's what I expect is going to happen. In about 6 months, you're gonna go somewhere on a trip, and you're gonna pull out a suitcase or some bag that you haven't used in a while. There they'll be.
Well, as luck would have it, I still haven't officially unpacked from last month. I'm not as good at the unpacking as I am at the
I'm
packing.
home, I'm happy, we're done. That's really
and I kind of get dressed out of it, which is why I've been wearing that same black t-shirt for 3 weeks. Because I just keep wearing it, washing it, and I'm like, oh, fuck it. But last night I put away, one of the last nights I put away a bunch of the clothes from the last trip.
And when do we have a itinerary for you? When's your next adventure?
The next adventure is LA. A friend of mine.
Oh, there's Ms. Ryer right there. Hi, Ryer.
Hello. A friend of mine and I are going to see Come From Away, the show that Kat and I have been kind of obsessing about the 9/11.
Oh,
the
yes.
people on flights in 9/11 that were all
diverted
to Newfoundland. Understand Newfoundland. You got to rhyme it. And great musical, and I don't think I'm going to get to New York City.
Marnie has her keys.
That
is a plus.
Anytime soon. So this came up in LA, so I get to see Harrison.
Gotcha.
And
when is that?
That's the one that I'm missing, because it's the second weekend of December, I think.
Oh.
Because with the season tickets here, we have Dear Evan Hansen here. Then there's the turnaround to see the show there, but we're going to add some roller coasters in and some beach. We're staying at the beach. We rented a house at the beach.
Okay.
In December, which is always lovely. And we're what are we doing? And we're doing Magic Mountain, so I get to get a roller coaster.
I haven't been
trip
to
in.
Magic Mountain in a long time.
I'm like every 5 years I get to go and pretty much think I'm going to be paralyzed by the end of it. But
Yeah.
Good times.
and today was a lovely day, so we'll just jump into like what we did this week. So it was
It's
a beautiful,
beautiful day. Oh my gosh.
and
Gorgeous.
some wonderful friends were in from that we all became friends
I
last
like it
year
when
in
you
the trip
talk
to Puerto
talk
Vallarta.
about me like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So some friends that we met in Puerto Vallarta in that birthday trip last
right,
year, where
right,
like everybody kind of got along. It was a really nice trip. Some friends came down from Vegas. They were in Vegas. They came down. They stayed with Frank. They're here for a couple days. So we had breakfast this morning, and then it was a beautiful day, and I really didn't have much to do. So my friend Patrick and I went and hiked South Mountain. I coerced him into that, and then we
Wow.
pull up, and Julia Gulia, longtime listener,
I do.
just appeared in the parking
Oh,
lot at the
wow.
exact same time. So a bizarre place to hike South
Yeah.
Mountain. I didn't know many people knew about that parking lot.
Oh.
It's a weird place to go in from the north side. And I mean, at the exact same minute, I'm still convinced that Patrick thinks that was some kind of a setup. Although even he would be, I think he'd be like, why would that be a setup? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Out of all the things.
right, like it's a great conspiracy theory, but why bother? You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
like we're all pretty good friends. Like, why would you sneak this person
Right.
in on the hike? Like,
Oh my God! Look who's here.
yeah, it was one of the.
Oh, I like this.
To what, except for just the act of manipulation. What else would be the point?
Sure.
But
Right.
what a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day for a hike here
It was.
at 70 degrees, and we did a good 2-hour and 20-minute hike.
Who
Everybody was very.
are you?
Going at a good clip.
I know. We're back to my days of hiking in my beloved South Mountain, which I always call the Red Earth of Tara, like Scarlett O'Hara
right,
in Gone with the Wind, and I had to tell them that. And I think people always like when I tell people I know South Mountain like really well.
Yeah.
No one ever believes me, but I lived right on it practically for 14
that's
years
what you were
between the
saying.
2 houses and then the apartment. So we took the tour like right by my apartment, like waved at my apartment building in the window, and they're like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
if I could
right
get
there.
back there, I would do it." But it was just a lovely day, and I still know like it's still muscle memory, and I knew where to turn and how to like. If you want to turn off here, this can be 90 minutes. If you want to turn off here, it can be 2 hours. This is the 2
You want
hour
to fall
20
down? You just that way.
no, and we went down the part, and they were like, because I was like, this is the part that's a tricky down. So when you go down, like, if you feel really sure-footed, go to the left. It's a little bit faster, but if you don't, go to the right.
Because
And
it's scary just driving up parts of that.
yeah,
be
It's been a
honest with
long
you.
time since I've been down
Yeah,
there.
the like as far as hiking, we rode horses.
well, because it is the
And by
largest
road I mean
completely internal,
slid down. Yeah.
the largest completely within one city state park in the country.
Oh,
There
I
is
never
it
knew
is the
that.
biggest preserve in the country
Okay.
that stays within the one city limit. It doesn't move.
Oh, how
It's
interesting.
hundreds and hundreds of miles of trails. And if you go
My
in,
horse didn't want that.
if you go in at Central, you go in by the horse stables, and there's
Yeah,
2 different
yeah.
places that will rent
That's
horses.
where we normally go in.
If you go on 19th Avenue, you can go up to where you can go to the Bar S Ranch or whatever that's called up there, and you can have dinner overlooking the city. But they built houses,
I
so now you're
never
kind of
knew
looking
about
into someone's
that.
living room.
Okay.
You can go up Telegraph Path where the red lights are. All the radio towers for Phoenix.
Sure.
You can be around the radio towers. We were like more to the east in the foothills, and then I call it the roller
like
coaster.
Awatuki's side?
No, we were on the
when you
north
say
side.
Okay.
For those of you listening who don't
Okay.
are unfamiliar with the surroundings and the geography of Phoenix, if you Google Phoenix, Arizona, and look up South Mountain, you can see the mountain range that Al's talking about. It's called South Mountain because it's the southern part of the city of Phoenix. There also is a North Mountain, which is up so close to where my mom lives.
No East Mountain.
There's no east or west.
Camelback.
Camelback,
Camelback
Mountains,
Mountains in
Mummy
middle.
Mountain, the Buttes.
White tanks.
The white
The white
tanks.
tanks are way,
Way
Way
out.
out, but I mean that might be the
Yeah.
the west.
But we
kind
had
of.
such beautiful. The white tanks are east.
White tanks. What's the McDowell?
The white tanks are
Aren't the
northeast.
McDowell Mountains the ones
Well, I
west.
thought white tanks
McDowell Mountains are.
south and east, south and west? I'm sorry.
I don't know where they're.
Papago. I thought that
but
was
Google
the,
a map.
Buttes. There's Papago
As I
Buttes.
tell
because
people to
Brenda
Google
and
map
Robin,
where-
I thought lived out by like 167th Avenue, and,
As far as I know, the white tanks are
and I thought
northeast.
that was always the white tanks.
But I don't know.
Huh.
I would not bet anything on it.
As I'm telling people to Google it, I'm thinking, well, I could just Google it myself.
And I know that's not the real name for him either, so we got to see.
And what's now Piestewa Peak, is you'll hear us occasionally refer to as Squaw Peak because.
Oh, my car has changed to
Piestewa.
Piestewa. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm looking at a Google map right now. There's the Oh, that's the Phoenix. Oh, the Phoenix Mountain Preserve. There's North Mountain. Where is? Obviously, there's South Mountain.
Yeah,
duh.
the bad part about the white tanks is that's not the full name, so you can't
Okay.
even Google it. You have to know what. Like I'm having trouble
Oh, okay.
Googling
I've
it.
just always called it the White Tanks.
It is, but it's
Oh,
short for
Estrella.
something.
Estrella Mountain.
Those are west.
Those are west. That's
Those
there.
are the
Western-
west.
Those are the west.
Yeah, I'm looking at what are the ones way past
Like past
Luke.
the 303.
white.
Right.
The white tanks are out by
Yeah.
Luke. That's
Yeah.
west. The
That's
white
what
tanks
I'm
are,
talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I think they spell it Tanquue.
Well, it's what. And then the other ones.
Superstition. would be-
Superstitions.
Those are east.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Four Peaks. That's what I'm thinking of.
Four Peaks
Okay.
is way out east, and then
The north. Yeah.
and that's so clear. It was so clear today that you could see like all the way to Four Peaks clearly. You could see like almost where Weaver's Needles
Yeah.
was. It was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you don't have to drive. You know, it's a 20-minute drive down to the parking lot, and it's just so nice. It's one of the little treasures here. And you get behind a hill, and you feel like you're nowhere near a city.
Sure.
Right.
It's just beautiful to be back there.
And it's called that place Bar
Bar
S.
I
Yes,
think
I
it's
think.
call Bar S, but I may be confusing with something else. But
Oh,
there's
that's
nothing else
cool,
there. You just
though.
drive up 19th Avenue till it ends, and like the salad bar is like salad and a tomato,
Okay.
and you go up and you fill up your
I don't know what's wrong with
salad, and you
that.
get and they cook the steaks
I'd be like,
outside
over
on a
tomato.
grill.
Yeah.
Like they go outside and you like, it's the least fancy restaurant in the world. It's just like picnic tables inside and outside, while they cook like you're on a cattle drive or something. You know what I mean? It's all they have is steak
Yeah.
and baked potatoes.
Okay.
And I think they might have cowboy beans, but they just cook on a giant grill out front,
Oh,
and
I
that's
love
it. So
it.
there's
Okay.
only like one steak and one way to get it. Like
Done.
I see
grilled.
I see T-Bone Steakhouse,
It could be that. Like I said,
which is just north of Lodge Drive. It's just up on a little, but not fully up on it.
And I'm just gonna tell you that you just said my last meal. Like I'm good with that, right?
Oh
like,
yeah,
just
yeah. It's
throw a
delicious.
steak
The
on
only thing
and-
is now when you go up 19th Avenue, there's all those houses built there. So instead of having this pristine view of Phoenix with nothing there, they let people build.
But if
so you're
it-
kind of looking down into people's like living rooms and at their TVs.
So, but that's not part of the preserve then, obviously.
It is, but because of the way it cuts in.
Okay.
But
I think
you know what I mean?
I think this is it. It's just not named on this. I see what you're talking about because this is
If you just follow 19th Avenue, it
Right,
ends
it
at that
ends
restaurant.
right. Telegraph Pass Road is what. Right. I see it. Boom. But that's not the one I mentioned. They don't have a name for it here.
Yeah, and I always think it's Bar S, but Bar S is kind of a common steakhouse name, so
Sure.
I could be making it up.
Right.
You could be a little just fibbing.
Or a hot dog.
Either way,
I don't think they
Bologna.
have hot dogs there.
beautiful.
No, I'm just saying.
But
bar.
a lot of times if you rent the horses, like if you do the horseback riding, that's where they'll take you for dinner. The horseback riding
Okay.
comes with a dinner. That's
Okay.
if you've never done it. If you come to Phoenix and during the nice weather, and I think they do it in the summer too. But they do it at
Yeah.
night. But you
Nice.
go at sunset. Or right before sunset,
Right.
you do like about an hour to an hour and 15-minute ride on horseback through the lower part of the mountain. You don't go up anything steep. As the guy told me, they gave me a horse that was as docile as a dead goat, which I love that expression and I've been using ever since.
Docile as a dead goat.
That's-
Because I'm like, I
Funny.
don't want some crazy fucking horse because I don't really like them because I swear they bite.
Well,
And,
yes, it's one of my. So, dying on a horse or drowning are really kind of my two things.
Your
where-
two
yeah,
go-tos
those
right
are
there.
my go-tos.
And then when you
here's
get off the
problem.
horse, you're still kind of moving in that
in
weird way.
we were in Mazatlan. This gal and I went to Mazatlan, and we were riding on a horse because that was like a
That's
dream.
it.
Ride on a horse on the beach. That'd be so much fun, romantic. And then the fucking horse I was on decided to walk backwards into the goddamn ocean. So what am I afraid of?
Horseback riding and
Horseback
drowning.
riding and drowning. And that fucker is in the water, just backing up like, bitch. And he's going back, and I thought, I'm gonna die. It's not okay.
It's not okay.
Well,
It scared me.
careful what you wish for.
That's all I'm saying right there. Yep.
But it really was. It was a lovely,
Yeah.
lovely day.
Yeah,
Had a class all day yesterday.
that's annoying.
And he had a teleconference. He finished up tonight as he got here on a
Very nice.
teleconference.
I know. Now I got to remember to get paid for it
Yeah, see.
How do you forget that?
because I got to go in and write it in
Yeah.
a book or put
Oh,
it
I
in
see.
an email.
I see.
So that's the nice thing is you get paid for just
Mm-hmm.
listening to a conversation. I mean, I feel free to interject once in a while so they know I
You?
was there. If
can't
you,
imagine.
If you can't imagine,
No,
I mean,
no.
put on your
I think you're
imagine
lying.
caps.
No.
You're lying.
Exactly.
How long
Liar.
was this teleconference?
About almost an hour.
Did you learn anything?
Yes, because one of the big deals is that we're moving into a new 17
Oh, yeah.
story
The
building.
new tower.
So we really have to get plans in place and get them. You know, we're changing the setup of the ICU slightly in a way that doesn't make a lot of sense. There's some frustration coming.
That's good. It doesn't make any sense to the staff. That's good.
I
Yeah,
know, right.
but as anything else, the ideas come from people that don't work
Right.
anywhere
Yeah,
near
right.
the
When
job.
you've got a chance to do it right the first
Yeah,
time,
no.
let's not do that.
No. And you should never, ever, ever consult the
No.
people that work the closest to the actual job. You should always
That
have
doesn't make any
somebody
sense.
in an imaginary
An
kingdom
intermediate.
just making shit up.
Somebody maybe even in a different job.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, of course they are.
like
Cafeteria.
cafeteria worker.
Imaginarium. No, this is really what it's called. I'm not
Imaginarium.
making that word up.
Seriously.
Yes, there's an Imaginarium department. That's supposed to be like an idea think tank.
That's
Shut
the
up.
dumbest thing maybe I've ever heard.
Well, no.
And wait till you have to sit in a
If
meeting.
they were
It-
like working for Disney.
Right, that's the Imagineers.
Right.
Right.
But very different job.
Yeah. And stupid.
Disney's not a lot of life or death things.
And just stupid ideas that last about 2 weeks before somebody was like, wow.
Can I ask a question? And they're like, what? We don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh my God.
I mean, that really is how so many
That's
changes
so
go.
unfortunate.
Is like, oh no. Yeah, that didn't work, did it?
Wow.
Or how do we fix this? Well, you know the program that you got rid of last year? Why not bring that back?
Yeah, that worked.
We
That
should
worked.
fix the wheel.
Yeah, we needed some new wheels.
Oh,
Yeah.
seriously. And it's a large corporation, so there's a lot of that. Of you know, it trickles down, it gets spit back a lot, but for a couple of weeks we all have to be like, who thought of this? Until
Right.
finally someone goes, this really doesn't work with your workflow, does it?
Yeah.
Not even
No.
a little bit.
Or it's somebody who's walking past that hears someone go, "Who's the motherfucker?"
Fucker, yeah.
And they're like, "Oh,
Oh.
yeah, that's me." I'm getting a little warm. I think I want to show you guys my new shirt.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I purposely, because I know how cold everybody else is, I didn't add any ventilation other than the fan.
No, it's fine. I'm hot.
Which actually, hey, Cut Muffin.
Wow.
Wow, there's a
know,
lot in that shirt.
Hey,
know.
why don't your boobs are making it tough? But hey, cunt muffin, why don't you climb in your douche canoe, cry me a river, and float the fuck away?
Wow.
Wow.
Why?
I don't wanna
Where?
send this to him.
With an
Yeah, too.
angry
It's
unicorn.
an angry unicorn.
Very
Wow.
rare in nature.
Yep.
Of all the rare things in nature.
Yeah, the angry unicorn is the most rare.
I say this to Doug Douchey.
Why?
But we have to say, you know, you win some, you lose some.
You know, I did.
So far.
we won.
And I have not seen the updates today yet.
For
They weren't
Hobbs?
updated for like,
yeah, for how
5:15.
she was up several,
was up,
3
yeah.
or 5,000.
Yeah.
So we're
But,
not
yeah,
done.
Those are the only.
Joe,
that's the
you're in
only
charge
one.
of Googling that. Find out what the latest counts are.
That's who you're the only
that's a
one
good
you're
one.
worried or wondering about, right?
Well, I heard that Hoffman and Hobbs are both going to announce today.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, Hoffman, I thought already did. Hoffman did.
No, it's not official.
Riggs Riggs.
Riggs did. He did a
Riggs,
bitter Twitter tweet, but
oh,
he
did
didn't. It wasn't a
'Cause
concession.
He hasn't like conceded. Yeah.
So Joe, please Google that for us, or Mama Die. Somebody get on Google and find out
It'll be Joe. I bet he'll have it in seconds.
what's official.
Okay.
No.
And Katie June was getting back to me yesterday because I was keeping on her as to like, and I know that and a U.S. Senate on a state that runs predominantly red, they
Right.
probably don't have a lot of internal pollsters. You know what I
Right.
mean?
We're purple though now.
We are officially purple. Yeah.
it's awesome.
So I don't think
Yeah.
there's the internal pollsters. I don't think that this state or the people that run here have that kind of. They don't put their cash in that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Because sometimes when you have your own poll, like Obama's had the pollsters, Clinton had the pollsters. They just forgot to poll the state she wasn't campaigning in.
Good point. Well made. Apparently they'll have another chance.
So I was hoping like maybe they had some internal numbers that they were running to see like how things were going, but we were just going with the general exit polls. That's why, even though McSally seemed to be up by a lot on election night, the pollsters. Well, we know Cinema officially won. We're asking about Hoffman and Hobbs.
I mean, but
Hobbs.
thank you, Joe.
Yeah,
Is what I meant.
finger on the pulse. Whitney's
Speaking
dead.
of which, I was just gonna say now is Whitney.
So's Natalie Cole.
Yeah.
Give me one moment.
So,
Oh,
so
my
there's
gosh.
that. So I mean, it really is very exciting that and our pal that we both put signs in our yard for, and I sent some cash
Oh,
to
Amish
Shaw.
Shaw.
Yeah.
He is now in our
And Longdon.
our state house.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. We got a Democrat now in education, right?
Yeah,
Did that
yeah.
one? That
The
was
Hoffman.
done?
That's,
Oh, that's
the
Hoffman.
That's Hoffman.
That's the big one because
Okay.
it was a California carpetbagger, a businessman who'd lost some elections over there, who has something to do with private schools here, right?
More
That-
than likely. More than likely. But
Okay,
the
that
thing-
was-
he has an R, so it's kind of like, well, like as Aaron said, David Garcia running for governor was fucking stupid because he couldn't even beat Diane Douglas, who, as Aaron loves to say, only taught like a glass blowing shop or class
Oh.
one time at a church. That's what she taught. That's what gave her.
Well, this guy isn't a teacher at all, but
No, not
from
at
what
all.
I understand,
Neither is she.
He's got investments in private schools.
Charter kind of stuff or private?
I think private.
Okay.
Could be charter though.
Okay.
To me, that's the same thing. I know
Okay.
it's not, but
Yeah.
I don't have kids, so I don't care
Right.
that much.
Right.
Oh, no, not that it's related necessarily to
But he's having a
us.
fun meltdown on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah. I can
Not that
believe
it directly, well, actually, it may somehow directly connect to Arizona. But CNN about 30 minutes ago posted that old Education Secretary Betsy DeVos has been sued again
Oh, no.
because of her not taking action on the debt relief for
Sure.
students. So she's right on it, too. That's good to know.
You know, if you were
But
kind of
she
keep
has
veering.
stayed in that fucking job.
She
She is
I
the
know.
only one.
Because she keeps her head down and away from dumbass.
She's under the desk.
Because I really
I'm-
thought, yeah,
Wow.
I really thought
I'm just
Nikki
saying.
Haley was going to be the one that would ride
I
the wave all
know,
the way
right?
out.
But say you're a performer and you have to go to Michigan, right? And play at DeVos Arena. No,
Yeah, no.
no.
I didn't realize there was a DeVos
I
arena.
didn't either until just there was something I was looking at.
And is it
said-
connected to her?
I believe so.
Oh.
She's Michigan, and like lots of money in Michigan, and
Okay.
that doesn't seem like a Jones kind
And
of name in
but
Michigan.
the brother is somebody. Her brother is somebody corrupt too. Like
But
super
does, like,
corrupt.
yeah, but
well,
he
he's the
does
Black
something-
Hawk. He's
Yeah.
the Black Hawk military
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
yes.
Yep, that they were going to give money to.
Black. What's it called?
Black Hawk Down.
There's
No,
a-
no. He's the one that
DeVos Performance Hall, erected in 2004 in Grand River in Grand Rapids, is named for Richard DeVos, who donated $20 million towards its construction. Now, I just got to figure out who the hell he is.
what is the ops? The one that Cheney had money in that made all the money off the war. Was that Blackwater? What's it called?
No.
I can't think of it. So Katie Hobbs.
I
That looks
can't
like the
either.
same number. No, it was Ismark's. I think Katie Hobbs was only up by 5,000 yesterday, and now it's 6.
Yeah,
No, that's
six-
still 5,000. That's like 5,000 and change.
but I don't know how many more ballots were there to count as of tonight's update, or was there?
Well, they're
Oh, and Greg
were
Stanton
almost-
ran for
yeah. Greg Stanton got it.
For
Yeah.
Congress,
Yeah.
right?
No. Oh yeah, he got it. He was like called right away. Pretty much.
Well, happy about that.
Okay, I'm gonna put on my glasses.
And Greg is such a nice guy.
Oh my God, for
Super
real.
nice.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know because he's clearly not in my district.
Nope, I got to vote for him. I was
I
very
did not
excited.
know.
But also, we had MSNBC on, so we didn't see those
Right, yeah.
returns.
The local returns, right.
Because I said something to Erin about Stanton. I'm like, well, what? I wonder what happened with him. And she goes, Martin, he won like right away. Oh, okay. Whoops. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting because I did not know. I didn't not know. Damn it. Where am I?
And now I'm Jesus Christ. I don't like that Arizona Central is this hard to find local fucking news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Easy Central, they don't make it easy.
And they're USA Today. It should be easier.
Hey, Heard Cinema pulled it out. Yep, that's right, Meow Cal. How are you, hon? Yes.
Yes, she did.
And seriously, Douche Canoe from Minnesota? Fucking Douche Canoe from Minnesota goes and makes some wild-ass statement. piss off about John McCain. That basically like
Oh, I
John
hadn't heard
McCain.
that.
Well, John McCain fucked this up, and I thought about cinema winning and the whole thing, and I'm like, he's just a sore loser male Republican who is all bent out of shape and pissy now. But he was apparently talking about how McCain fucked it up, and when I first heard that, I thought, oh no, not another one. Who's like, well, he died, and look what he did. But he made a comment about the fact that it was John McCain's fault because he voted.
The thumbs down on the
Oh.
repeal.
Yeah,
But
about
it's
the
like-
repeal. Jason Lewis, yes.
Ah.
He's gone. But thank you, Meow. Yeah, and I thought Kate Gallego that they had to have a runoff. Gallego and
Yes, mayor has to go to a
yep,
runoff.
it has to go to a runoff. She has a little bit bigger number, I think, in there, but
She
because
actually
of,
came within like 2 points of just winning it straight
Straight
out
out.
because you had to get over 50.
Yeah. Yep.
And the other two together don't
So
equal her
is our
number.
runoff in December?
I think I heard that.
Is that here? Because I
I'm
know,
not- is it
like
December?
in Georgia, for that senator one or governor, I'm sorry, governor. That's I know that runoff is like December 4th.
I thought it was a little bit further out than that, but it's so it's the two Democrats. So one way or another, it will be a Democrat mayor,
Yes.
a Democratic mayor, because it's
And the-
Hernandez or Kate Gallego.
Yes, and she was well ahead.
Yeah, so I was surprised by that, and again, it goes back to what we had talked about. Like, why do you have two prominent people running, two people that could win this deal? Because otherwise, if that Moses Sanchez,
According to Joe, Kate's only at 44%. That's what he's.
Right, okay, so she was a few points away, but she was still. I think she was like
But nobody got 50%, so that's why we
That's
got
right,
a
which
runoff,
like
right?
if you added up the other two.
Right, because isn't there a Green Party in there too?
Yeah, there was like two Democrats, a Republican, a Green
I
Party.
didn't-
Yeah, it was
okay.
I
split.
think that's right.
If only azfuckingcentral.com
Yeah.
would give us more
Well,
than
Well, why don't you go to Maricopa County,
and not
the recorder?
Okay, I'll
and
do
not
that.
just that, but that whole cinema thing with McSally. I mean, first of all, her concession speech, I'm like, oh my God, she's a human and she has a dog. But then all I could think was, well, that's because Douchey is going to go ahead and just put her into McCain's seat.
It's recorder.maricopa.gov/election results. And I realize this is stimulating for everybody else out there, but maricopacounty.gov, recorder.maricopa.gov.
Yeah.
Oh no, Meowcal, I don't know who that is, but if he's a wing-ding dumbass, I'm on board. I got to look this shit up. Love it.
Viewing election results. Right. I don't know where Joe is, but
I'm telling you that we're on the cutting edge right now.
here we are. Oh, look at all this. My gosh, it's a school to the judges, cities and towns.
If you're just joining us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
please don't leave.
So what did you do this
We'll
week?
be there in a minute.
Go to that.
We're recounting.
We're recounting.
Oh,
So actually, something I forgot to tell you about last week, which was really kind of a big deal to me, but I forgot, was that Aaron and I and our friend Greg went and saw Leah Michelle and
Oh,
Darren
did you
Criss.
get to see it?
Yeah, and it was amazing.
Leah Michelle, for those of you not keeping up, played Rachel in Glee, the
Rachel
TV series.
Berry.
Rachel Berry in the series Glee.
And Darren Criss was.
Oh, he was there too?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
they
the
were
two of them.
touring together. Yeah.
They're doing a little traveling thing.
Was he
and,
ever in his underwear at any point or time?
You know, he wasn't, but we realized that he's a lot. Like he's that he's that
He's a lot.
he's a lot. Just he's that musician-y kind of mind, just all over and so talented. But you're like, slow down. Hey, over here. You
Yeah,
know?
and he got his start by doing the Harry Potter musical for YouTube. He wrote a Harry Potter musical, and he auditioned for the original cast of Glee to be Finn. Got turned down because he looks
Oh.
nothing like a football player.
No.
Right.
No.
So they kept him in mind and brought him back.
Oh my gosh.
And then he wasn't supposed to be cast in the Darren. He wasn't supposed to be cast in the Ryan Murphy movie, the Versace. Even though they had worked together on Glee,
okay.
he didn't think he was grown up enough.
Sure.
And then saw him in LA like I did in Hedwig and was like,
Holy shit.
oh yeah, like
That was
You're
the one
tortured.
thing. That was my one thing because they each, when all of a sudden they came out and they started, the thing, and and don't. And then I know Kat did not win. Thank you.
That was very funny. Kat did not win for Mine Inspector.
When all of a sudden they started, the music started for Don't Rain on My Parade. Mm-hmm. And it was like the place just fucking erupted. And the two of them singing it and being able to tell stories, right? And so that was really cool. She did some of her stuff by herself, but he did some of his stuff. And then they came together and they said that apparently Darren Criss wants to do a new song every city he's in. Right? So he
Show
learns
off.
it. Right. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, holy shit. So he learns whatever song, and so here I was thinking, like Stevie Nicks, or isn't
gotcha.
Glenn Campbell Arizona?
Yep.
Right.
So is Waylon Jennings.
Right. And so
Though Waylon Jennings doesn't really seem like a Darren Criss fit for me.
But that was the thing. Everything about him isn't a fit, and it was so cool because like Hedwig. There's nothing about him that yells Hedwig.
Right, and he was very good.
And that was the one thing he didn't sing. Had he pulled out a little Origins of Love, I would have been done. But he didn't. So that was kind of disappointing. But Leah Michelle, just as down to earth, like you just wanted to hang out with them.
Yeah.
And then they decided that they hadn't done, they did a couple, like a lot of songs together. But they hadn't done this song yet, and all of a sudden, they pulled out "Shallow."
Oh yeah. From A Star Is Born.
And they hadn't done that one yet, and it was phenomenal. I have it. I recorded that one when they were doing it. I'm not sure how well I got it, but I'll share. I'll listen to that and share it with you because it really was just and fun. Like just
where
a
was
fun
this?
night at Gamage.
At Gamage.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and at the end, because it was at Gamage, what I really appreciated was that they took the mics and they put them way in the back, and they're like, "Here's the really great part about being in this theater."
Yeah.
And they were just talking, but it was really something. And they sang their last song with no microphones and just them. And because he looks at
And a lot of times
Leah
the
Michele
microphones are what fuck up
Yeah.
the acoustics of that place.
Yeah, because he said, "Well, now, Leah, I think you're somewhat familiar with the stage, and as far as her voice," and she's like, "A little bit,
Yeah.
So, but they were just really wonderful. So I had forgotten to mention that. So it was very fun.
Because as a little kid, she was in the original cast of Ragtime that I saw.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you showing that.
was like-
That and Anna. Who else showed Anna Kendrick?
Me.
That was you.
Because we did
and
that in drag.
wasn't in.
That was from the Leading Ladies, whatever that's called. My favorite Broadway,
And
The
she
Leading
was
Ladies.
like this little
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Young-
What, she stood on a chair and sang.
Right,
Was that
and was-
Life
just-
upon the wicked stage ain't ever what
yeah.
a girl.
Can you to put? We were trying to come up with people to we want this girl concert, and they were two of the names.
a Broadway Lilith Fair, if you will?
Right, absolutely. Oh God, yeah. And the only other thing I can think of that was life changing.
Oh, life changing.
No. Life changing. It altered everything, but for a moment. And that was when my brother came over and he fixed the hot water heater.
Oh Jesus! I didn't know where we were going with this.
But for real, I can't. It was a delight, and it was amazing.
Was that Wednesday? It was a Wednesday
We are
night.
just happy to say goodbye to 2018 and the
God
year
damn.
of the showers.
Oh, 2017, 2018. I want to get rid of all. Fuck it. Yep. I want.
You've had consistent hot water since Wednesday?
Oh, yeah.
Very good. You're welcome.
Sometimes I just I'm like, did I just get out of the shower? Don't care.
Get back in.
Get back in.
A luxury you forget to be thankful for.
You really do. Like it because it kept going kind of intermittent, and then it just stopped, and it was
Stopped.
like 2 days. So we were able to go. We had water. We had whatever. We were able to go next door to shower, and we can heat up water to like wash and do whatever, wash hands stuff. But for the love of God,
Yeah.
You
just-
really do.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, just the thought of like, oh my god, I don't want to walk somewhere and take a shower. I just
I
want to
know.
go in the bathroom.
I didn't. Well, and you don't want to bitch about it because for real, hashtag white women's problems in America.
We'll just call that
So,
first world problems.
First world. Well, for me bitching about it, I'm going to say white women's problems in America. I'm part of the WWA. Yeah.
White women problems.
Yeah,
in America.
yeah.
WWPA.
PA. Mm-hmm.
But-
So
Okay,
we
yeah.
have breaking news. So
Whip that.
as I was told, and it turns out it was not egregiously. That's the wrong word. Erroneously, Katie Hobbs has won for Secretary of State, according to the
Oh.
recorder. She has been declared the winner, and Kathy Hoffman. It's not just a rumor anymore, and she won by that. Well, I don't know if that was a vote total we had up, but just over 5,000 votes.
Okay.
And they called that Secretary of State with a difference of change. That one is like 7,000 votes.
Yeah, it
But
wasn't
they
a lot.
They are called. So all three were not winning the day of the election. And there was a chance that mail-in ballots were not going to be counted. So be really careful with your mail-in ballots.
For
Don't
real.
just assume stuff. This is what this all came down to. Is
Well, what did
signatures
they
not
s-
matching?
What did they say in Florida? Isn't that the big thing?
No, Florida's is
Military is not in yet. The
No, but they
military.
were saying that there's a deadline that they have to have shit counted by.
yes, and
Oh,
they
right.
Yeah.
sued and they're not going to honor it.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Oh no, there was a
good.
no, there was
Okay.
another injunction from a judge that they gave
Sorry,
him another
yeah.
day or considered something.
I think they have till Thursday now. But
Well,
the
I thought it
military
was,
votes will be
yeah.
counted,
Okay.
and if it's the machine
Good.
not counting the one column because there's like 20-some thousand missing votes,
Right.
but we have that same problem here because each of the candidates for Senate
Yep.
received over 1 million votes, but on the same statewide ballot, Secretary of State together only has 128,000 votes. I mean, 1.28 million votes.
Okay.
And Superintendent of Public Education has 125 or 1.26 million. So that's kind of a big discrepancy that over 2 million people voted for Senate, but not that many people voted for Secretary of State or
And I don't know if
Superintendent
either
of
of you
Education.
actually saw the ballot from Florida and how poorly it was put together.
No.
So you know how we have in our ballots where it shows the first column is usually an instructional column, and then sometimes on ours, like maybe midway down, they'll be like the first thing to vote for, and it, you know, whatever governor or president or whatever the first thing is.
Right.
Well, in the ballot that they did in Florida in that Broward County, the thing is all the instructions are there, and at the very bottom is the very first thing to vote for.
and that was the Senate.
And that's what people completely overlooked and went to the top of the second column and started. So a very huge portion of them
Wow.
completely missed that altogether. So just a poor ballot design. And I guess federal officials who have whatever to do with the election officials, however it's done, have stated previously that don't do that. Don't put voting in the first column. Start everything, I guess, in that second column, or I guess above the fold, if you will, because you know some ballots, if you look at it, it just got missed. So that was
How
unfortunate for them.
ridiculous. Oh, that's
Yeah.
frustrating.
Very.
Oh my gosh. And they are going to a runoff, not in Florida, but Georgia. Just
No.
Georgia, right? The Florida thing is
The
done.
governor.
Georgia goes to a runoff if she gets enough votes to keep him under 50%.
Under 50, right. If neither one of them get 50,
And I
then they
don't
do.
think that's gonna happen.
Oh, okay.
So one of the consolation prizes that they're talking about is making her,
Lieutenant governor?
no, she's in the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi. She'll be the Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House.
So she is the one that they're, because I didn't realize she was a U.S. Congresswoman.
Okay.
But so that is one of the consolation prizes that the Democratic Party is thinking, because she raised so much money,
Yeah.
which is Nancy Pelosi's thing. That's how she always gets back in, is because she raises
Right.
money like
Sure.
fucking crazy.
Sure.
And the other thing that they were talking about, you know, in spite of everything else, she keeps everybody in line in that Democratic Party.
Right.
So like her or not, everybody toes the line under her.
Right.
Oh, heavens.
Well,
I know this has been stimulating for
yeah.
all of the people who don't live
Yeah.
locally or whatever, but we are not quite done with all of our electing stuff yet.
And also, poor Meow Cow. To not know that you were, gonna lose something that you didn't know you were running
Right,
for.
yeah.
But I really think that he's not suited for the judge position. He's a cartographer, really.
Right.
And so you stick with what you know,
Right,
Meow.
yeah.
Stick with what you know.
Just be a good cartographer.
That's all we need, right?
Uh-huh.
Further
And what have you been up
yeah.
to?
Fixed her hot water heater.
Thank God. Preach.
And I expressed the frustration that I had with you because I had usually when I go to fix something, I assess it myself and I go through my own checklist in my head of what is wrong. And she had come to me with a diagnosis and I didn't self-diagnose it. Come to find out, she ordered a controller, got it shipped free, which was nice. You got a controller shipped free to it. Put it all together, took it all apart, drained the tank, did everything, put it together, and the same exact problem.
Oh, wow.
Come to find out, a little tiny jet that's no bigger than the end of this pin was clogged with rust and dirt. I cleaned it out. She fired right up immediately. Could have fixed it a month ago.
Yeah.
That's the frustration
And that was
part.
the intermittent, like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, on, was it that same night?
You went and saw.
I saw Bohemian Rhapsody on Wednesday.
What did you think?
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
It wasn't as in depth as I thought it was going to be, specific to the songwriting and to that part. I thought there was going to be more based on what you said. Also, I didn't cry as much.
Okay.
I cried.
Yeah.
But I didn't cry as much as I thought I would because I'm sitting there, I'm like, and it's an odd thing, and obviously it's going to happen more and more as you get older. When you see a movie that is talking about a time that you've lived through, and I know that was part of your reaction with it because you were like, this song and this thing, and you knew more songs than you thought you did, and things were happening. But it was interesting because when they watch the whole setup of Live Aid, and they're talking about this person, that person, and the guy that walks in that's Bob Geldof in the thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I did think it was a little interesting that they didn't use as a lot more actual footage of like the Bob Geldof and even the TV appearances. I don't know why they wouldn't have, or what if there was some crazy licensing thing. But anyway, when you see these people. And like there's a shot where it looks like David Bowie, but they don't really show him, but you can tell by the outfit it's David Bowie.
Sure.
And all these people running backstage and
Because it
doing
was
stuff.
like a Ziggy Stardust kind of.
No.
No,
He
no.
was
Bowie
just
or
80s
David
Bowie.
He was in his
Okay.
formal way. He was
Okay.
in the Let's Dance.
Yeah.
Got
setups.
it. Okay. Okay.
But just an interesting thing to know that all of this was going on as I'm just, Thriller was out and Wham had happened and, all of these different things,
Prince,
Culture
Madonna,
Club, all these different things
yeah.
are going on. And
I don't remember Prince being there, but I don't know.
no, I just meant in that era.
Oh, yeah, right.
yeah.
Not at
Right.
Live Aid, but at that era, and you just all these other things in life, and you remember where you were when you watched it and what was going on. It's just interesting to you sometimes you forget other people's lives go on
Sure.
outside of your world. But it was a great movie. It was there were a couple moments where you're like, wow, and it just slapped you in the face of some reality of things. Very interesting, and so glad I went.
Good.
Very happy. And the other reason I was glad I went was because I went with a friend who lives up by Deer Valley. So we went to the AMC Deer Valley, whatever the hell it's called. Beautiful theater, huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing was ginormous. The theater, and there were like 5 people.
Oh.
And it was the best thing because I didn't have to hear
Nice.
anybody sneeze
Sure,
or cough
sure.
or rink or unwrap a candy bar or any of that. Silence in the whole thing. It was wonderful. I got to pick
That's
exactly
hilarious.
where I wanted to sit and all that.
Well,
But,
update to the update.
oh,
We should not be on the Maricopa County. They're giving our vote. That's why the votes were so low, because that was the results for Maricopa County, not the results for the state. So when
Got
you
it.
switch over,
They have a state
now they
section.
have right the state section, but it's based on who won in Maricopa County. It's not giving you the whole race. So
Oh, got it. Okay.
because Katie Hobbs did receive over 1 million votes. The vote totals are much higher if you look statewide, just not Maricopa. So Katie Hobbs has not
I
been
get you.
declared yet, but she is ahead, again, by those numbers that Joe did put up. He was on this ABC page. But Kathy Hoffman has officially been called 51 to 49%, 100% reporting they are done voting.
Good. Yep.
So
Oh,
that is
makes me
done. We're
happy.
just waiting on Secretary of State, which here in our state is a big deal because that helps with with the elections and with a lot of the stuff. So Secretary of State acts as our
Lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant governor.
Because we don't have a lieutenant governor per se.
Right.
So let's say Trump runs out of people to appoint to positions, and he picks Ducey, then
Secretary of State
Secretary of State moves up.
moves up.
Yep.
In addition to doing that, seeing the movie this week, a tiny thing. A friend of mine, Carrington Valenzuela, who is Nevaeh McKenzie. I don't know if anybody, either of you know. Paula Abdul was in town for a concert or a show, whatever the hell. I don't even know where it was. I had no idea what theater, where she was. But
I think she was at Wild Horse Pass.
Yeah.
oh, okay, because it looked like a smaller stage. And I have no idea how. I've never been there to my recollection. Anywho, they called people on stage, I guess, for some dance thing. I haven't talked to him about it. I just saw his Facebook post. They asked
adorable.
to do some dance, and he just sold it.
He did.
And then out of the 4 or 5 contestants on stage, he won and has a picture with Paula Abdul, and he was just so happy.
It was
because
really
as a
cute.
little kid, he was a little dancer kid and all that stuff, and looked up to her. I thought that was very cute for him.
I did too. I just thought that was the sweetest video.
Yeah.
When he went out, because he was, I mean, please, a performer for sure.
Oh yeah.
But, when you're on a different level than the typical performing that he does, to be there and to have one of your idols kind of in front of you.
Oh, and embrace you, but literally,
And
physically.
yeah.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah, it was really
And our friend
cute.
Jose that went to see On Your Feet, the Gloria Estefan musical.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I assume that's
He
coming
went-
up in entertainment.
yeah, he went
saw
to.
that too, yeah.
he went to both. He got out of the theater, went right to, and he had some kind of VIP backstage passes.
Oh.
Photos with her. We were like, I think he got
Fun.
to feed her soup. I mean,
Oh, gosh.
it
Or
was
the
a-
pills in the soup.
Yeah, it was a little extensive.
Something, yeah.
Wow.
Something.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
Uh-huh.
Opposites attract. That's great.
Oh, this is so frustrating that they haven't called this race for Katie Hobbs. Damn it!
Well,
we're
but
not-
how many? What's the whole?
It says 100% reporting ahead by, like I said, 5,000.
I'm friends with Katie on Facebook. Let me actually, let me see if she has anything posted on her Facebook. That's another thing that's very cool, and I realize I'm not alone in this. A lot of people know them, but it's very interesting to, and again, whether you fully agree with Miss Cinema or not, or
Sure.
whatever the deal is,
I agree.
I just think it's so cool in several of the circles that we have all run in. We actually know these people.
Yeah.
We know
Right.
Greg Stanton. You didn't even know you had a picture with him. Katie Hobbs does so much volunteer work for the LGBT community here in town. I see her constantly. I run into her at the bars. I run into her at events all the time. I've met Kirsten Cinema 2 or 3 times because of Katie June getting me involved with the HRC and doing voiceover work for them.
Right.
So it's just interesting that they're real people. They're not just some schmuck who's in there doing whatever they want to do for themselves. I just feel that there's a little more validation, if you will, to them because you actually know them.
Well, and the one thing that I want to throw out, because I'm incredibly proud of her, incredibly proud, and it again doesn't matter whether you agree or you don't agree, or you followed it or you didn't follow it. But Joan Green, someone that we both know, was up against Andy Biggs in District 5, and he's a big fucking douchebag. But she got 41%. I mean, she did well, and the fact that she got that many votes. I mean, she worked and was out there and put herself out there and was like a Misha.
Yeah.
You know, really was listening to people and doing the door to door and all kinds of the things. So to give, granted, 60% compared to 40%, you lost.
Right, but 40% is better than 30 or 25.
Yeah.
Or
it's
someone
changing.
being like, who?
Right.
Right. And in that district,
Is District 5 out in the Awatuki area? Because that's
Yeah.
where she used to live. I
that's
don't know
where
if she
she
still
does.
does. Okay.
She still lives out there. And it has in here, easily defeated Democrat Joan Green. But it's maybe.
Option in that, right.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what does it have? Sun out, down, we can, thumb down. I'm trying to. 5 is, like Ahwatukee, part of Mesa, I believe. And that's where the Mesa resident, the shooting death, the police, blah, blah, blah. East Valley voters from, the district covers the East Valley from south of Loop 202 down through Mesa to Sun Lakes and Queen Creek.
Yeah, so it's as conservative as they get.
It is.
Right.
And so the idea that you're able to get any votes over there is phenomenal, I think. So I hats off to her.
And one of the biggest wins is that in California, Dana
Rohrabacher
lost.
Yes.
Who represented
Yes.
Orange County for 3 decades and is known for his support for Vladimir Putin. And then the 2 that won, so we should get 2 more seats because 2 of the men that won, one in New York, one in California, both are facing indictment.
Yeah, and that's amazing. Somebody that is already been charged or waiting for their sentence or whatever the hell else that is.
Sure.
And they're like, really? You're going to vote for them?
Yeah.
Wow. I guess that's literally tying a knot in the end of your rope and just holding on for dear life.
Well, actually, no, because it's just like as far as this administration, we're gonna oust Sessions, but we're gonna put this other guy in who's
I have been enjoying this week because I think the dumpster fire thought,
It's
haha,
raining.
I'll outsmart all of them and I'll do this. Then he realized, and I'm just watching the lawyers spin up. Like you've got the San Francisco District Court because of Sessions' name being on all of the other the cases, and now his name is not on it.
Yep.
Like the guy said, I walked in the court, with Sessions on the name of the case, and by the time we were out of court, his name was off the case. Like there's so many lawsuits that are spinning up, and the fact that there was something else. And again, I haven't watched it intently today. Something else with the fact that I think there's an actual federal judge that's actually coming in to actually remove him. Like that was said something about that if they could actually pull what's his name out and force Rosenstein to be it because he is a Senate confirmed. He was next in succession.
Okay.
I will just laugh for a day or two if that happens.
Well, and I don't know this man. I don't know this man at all. I've never met him. I don't know him. No, I don't know him. No, he's a good friend. He's a good man.
Right. Which
He's a
one is it?
real good man.
But
Where the fuck are you coming from, dude? Like how and I'm not.
That changes every day.
Every day.
He's his lawyer. He's his most trusted lawyer. He's a great man. I don't really
I've
know
never
him.
met him.
he was only on the campaign for like 40 days.
Yeah.
He was there for 4 months or whatever. He's none of his math adds up.
He's my best friend.
Yeah, a month.
But I know I don't know him.
A month,
Yeah, I've
a month
never met him,
prior,
though.
he was on Fox saying, "Oh, I know him," and then now I don't know him. Sure, Lord,
And I
that's
just,
sort of been my obsession this week is watching all of the spin up from all of this because Mr. McPouty face in the rain and after the midterms and he got his ass whipped because he didn't the red wave didn't continue. Mm-hmm. It's been enjoyable. Oh, and then today. Miss Snooty Pants.
Oh, yeah.
She's demanding people be fired from the White House now.
Oh.
She's mad. All these other people, everybody's mad. The whole world.
Get rid of her. Get rid of her, Melania says.
She doesn't.
Someone told her she couldn't go somewhere in the rain.
That'll make your hair look bad, girl.
Was there a cake somewhere in the rain?
Well, they
I'm not sure.
couldn't, they couldn't tell her about her coat, her
Right.
raincoat, but they could tell her not to. Well, and he'll melt that fucker, and all that orange will just wash right off him.
No.
That'd be embarrassing.
Spray tan does rinse off.
Yeah, that'd be
I remember
embarrassing
from
for him.
yesteryear.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a second and read that story about what the offense is. It's something about where she sat on the plane and
Yeah.
where she could go.
Oh, I haven't
Yeah.
read
It's
that.
silliness.
Well, we'll get to there. I'm going to bypass obsessions and we're going to go right to. I think we should do our little headline thing. We'll move on with this. How about
Okay.
that?
Oh boy.
Oh, you can make it happen, Marnie. I know you can. I trust you. I feel.
I know you do. I know.
I feel.
I mean, yeah, me too.
Headlines on. Well, we can bypass you and come back too.
No,
There's
I'm
that.
Good. I'm good.
A fisherman fakes his own death.
I want to
Potato-
be younger. Oh, I thought you were skipping her. I thought she just said she wanted to be skipped.
No. Potato.
I want to be younger.
Man crashes into courthouse on purpose.
And that.
Prop 7 in California, the beginning of the end.
Now we just skip me.
No, go ahead. Now you.
Michigan, marijuana. Why not?
And Yabba Dabba speeding ticket. These and I don't know, other shit we're going to make up and talk about coming up just moments from now. It is the beginning of hour 2 coming at you. Take yourself a little bathroom break, get a beverage, and come back.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
You're listening to Q Talk America.
Educates, syncopates, radio communicates, radio, the sound of year-round pleasure.
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Greetings. Where's my thing? Oh, there it is right there. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Sometimes I can't hear myself, and I don't know if we're on or we're off. It doesn't matter. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's the beginning of hour 2 on the show on a Tuesday night. Kat Carlson had some teenage issue she was dealing with. I'm not sure. Very busy.
It could happen more and more.
Well, I think as they get older, it happens more and more.
I've heard that.
Parenting.
But alongside me, of course, is Marnie Ryer, Al Perkins, rounding out our cast. We're going to do what we can to get through our Tuesday night show. Thank you all for listening, whether it's now or later, on demand, at a time of your own choosing.
I love it.
Oh, heaven's sakes. We're going to do our little headlines. Coming up later, also, Al Perkins with entertainment, talking about, well, entertainment stuff later on. That'll
There's a couple things.
be exciting. Well, a commercial fisherman who faked his death to avoid incarceration for a sexual assault charge has
Jesus
been
Christ.
sentenced. He's now been sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. Federal prosecutors say the Coast Guard spent $384,000 searching for the 35-year-old man. His name is Ryan Meganak. After his girlfriend, who was part of the scheme, reported him missing off of Port Graham. Meganak, in 2016, faced state charges of sexually assaulting an incapacitated woman. Oh. Now, investigators determined he swamped his skiff, or his boat, returned to Port Graham on another boat, and hid out near his mother's home, and he had planned to flee Alaska when the search ended. The plan went awry when Meganak's girlfriend confessed to his grieving parents that he really wasn't dead. He had kind of faked his death. U.S. District Judge Sharon Gleason ordered Meganak to serve 15 months in prison consecutively next to his 15-year state sentence that he was trying to get out of.
Unbelievable.
Dumbass.
Ain't nobody got no time for that.
That or this? What you're going to do? That. No.
Terrifying. Blah, blah, blah. Hold on. Well, I have to get out this thing,
I got things to do,
I got a
things to
thing,
look
and then
at.
a thing.
Oh, by the way, the in the Katie Hobbs was it the Katie Hobbs thing
Yeah.
earlier? It was 63,400 votes separated her from the closest next person in Maricopa County. But you said that wasn't actual. That was only Maricopa County votes that I was looking at, right? If I
Right,
was on
she
their
won
side.
Maricopa. She won Maricopa County. So,
But
here we go. So here's the
Pardon
news
me, Marty.
as of
No,
today.
you're fine. I appreciate it.
One major contest for a public office in Arizona remains undecided a week later. So as of right now,
God, it has been a week.
Democrat
Jeez.
Katie Hobbs leads Republican Steve Gaynor by about 5,300 votes as of right now.
Okay.
A razor-thin margin of 0.24 percentage points and a slight drop in her lead. More than 2.2 million ballots have been counted. Additional results from Maricopa County are expected at 5 p.m. Wednesday, but it could take days for the county to tabulate all remaining ballots. On Monday evening, the Associated Press, which had projected Gaynor would win on election night when he was ahead by 40,000 votes, took the rare step of retracting its race call. The AP also retracted its projection in the race for 2 other seats. No new call will be made until results of the election are actually certified by Arizona officials. So now the number left, and Arizona Secretary of State is not only serves as lieutenant governor in case someone dies or cannot fulfill their duties,
Right.
but they're also in charge of the elections.
results. Okay.
So roughly 126,000 ballots remain to be counted in Maricopa County alone for a total of 145,000 statewide. And that's because all those drop-offs that people do the day of don't get counted. And
Right.
then they have to go through and
Right.
check each signature.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like me, and sometimes I sign AWP, sometimes I sign my name A. Perkins, sometimes I do all different things, sometimes I have a Roman numeral 2, sometimes I do the RN because I'm not thinking and I think I'm at work. So you really have to find out, how
right.
did I sign this motherfucker when I registered and then sign that same way?
Right.
And I
That's it.
can't always be bothered to sign my whole name.
Well, but do you have to? I mean,
Well, it has to match. If it doesn't match,
right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. But
So you-
can't you show like that you have these different signatures? Do you?
well, I mean, if then it becomes a provisional ballot, but they're not going to come and get you and find out if you didn't sign like you did originally.
right.
They're not going to count your ballot
Okay.
because they match the signatures. Voter fraud is very rare, and that's one of the reasons why it's very rare. Like
Sure.
if you don't know your own signature,
Yeah.
or you're like me, and sometimes to be quick, I'll
Well,
just sign
as a
AWP.
notary,
Yeah.
I'll say put all your signatures on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you ever sign your name differently? Do you ever use your
Right.
middle initial? Do you anything?
Right, and that Roman numeral 2 throws me because I don't always use it. So there you go. So it might be days before we find that out until there's, like in the cinema case, there was enough votes that they're just. So even with
Right.
whatever that was, there's 145,000 votes. There was no way for
McSally
Sally
just
to
wouldn't
con-
have gotten that.
she wouldn't have
right.
gotten it. But this is so close. It's and the lead has shrunk. So
Right.
who knows? So we'll be doing the update at 5 p.m. every day here in Arizona for a few more days because that's an important seat. The more local your election, the more important it is to your life.
Absolutely, absolutely. The Clayton, of what I sent you, the last one that I sent you is the story I'm going to do right now.
So is this a video? Is this a picture
It's
of Gore?
just the picture.
Oh, we just want a picture of it?
Yeah, just so that you have that, and then I'm just going to do the story. I just need to let you know that this just in.
Oh, good! Breaking news! Breaking news!
Breaking news.
Whitney's dead.
Well, I believe so, but we'd have to check with Joe.
Oh yeah, we'll make sure that.
So you know how we're doing the Florida recount.
Right.
Well, the Florida recount finally wraps up, and Al Gore has been declared president. Breaking news! Breaking news! As Florida finally wrapped up its contentious recount of the votes tallied in the recent midterm elections, a winner was finally declared, and Al Gore is now president of the United States. The recount process, at long last, found the, quote, missing votes, unquote, that would have handed Gore the presidency back in 2000. Making him the official president of the country. Well, it's about time, Gore said in his acceptance speech. Thanks to all the fine people that made this happen. It really is too bad that the Earth is going to be destroyed by fire by
Starting in
2015, or
California.
I mean 2019, or else I could really savor my presidency. Gore will be granted 2 terms as U.S. president, ousting Trump and canceling the 2020 election. We just assume he would have won again and ushered in a liberal golden age, said an election official. So he's got 8 years to reclaim his lost time. Make the
I
most
want to
of it,
reclaim my
Al,
time.
and a great job. You deserve it.
So it is true that I mean he did win the state. Eventually they just stopped counting. The Supreme Court
Yeah.
ruled them to stop counting.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Right,
But
and-
he did, yeah.
And do you know who ramrodded that entire thing that forced them to stop counting in Florida? Roger Stone.
yeah, he
Coordinated all that shit.
Oh.
the riots and stuff. But it was
Yeah.
because
Oh,
of
wow.
the judges. He started
Yeah.
all the riots.
Right.
He started
Yeah.
The hullabaloo.
the hullabaloo.
Isn't that interesting?
I think that's a
It really
technical
is.
term, hullabaloo.
I like it. I like it a lot. And those other things are just some things. The end. But they're all a part of the same thing.
Yeah.
There you have it. The
What's
end.
that?
But
What's
Ted
that?
Olson, who became the Solicitor General for Bush, and then he was the villain, and then
He became the good guy.
he became the
Yeah.
good guy when he fought the court battle for gay marriage.
Yeah, for Oppenheimer, Chuck and Schuster or something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of that. That's terrible, and I should know his
I got
name,
some
but it's
sun
a
today.
difficult name.
And I'm looking at myself on camera.
It's the lighting.
Congratulations.
No, usually I look
I'm
white as
kidding.
a sheet. This lighting doesn't fucking
Oh,
change.
Joe, I read this just in. Whitney is officially dead.
Oh,
Good. We've been wondering.
New record's gonna
Thank
drop
you.
any day
Thank
now.
you. Well,
Yeah.
she already dropped, so
Well, speaking of trying to come back to life, a 69-year-old Dutchman attempts to legally lower his age to 49. Media personality Rattleband says dropping 20 years from his age will put him in a luxurious position on Tinder.
Aw, nice.
A 69-year-old man in the Netherlands wants to prove it's legally possible to be as old as you feel. Emil Rattleband has filed a lawsuit against the Dutch government requesting that his date of birth be switched from March 11th, 1949 to March 11th, 1969. Rattleband, a media personality and motivational guru specializing in self-awareness, compares his attempt to turn back the clock to identifying as transgender. He saw that coming. We live in a time when you can change your name and change your gender. Why not decide my own age? He asked, according to the BBC.
Okay.
Rattleband told a court in Arnhem that having an official age that did not reflect his emotional state was a challenge for his career and love life. Okay, I gotta kind of give it to him. That's what everybody's saying. When I'm 69, I am limited. If I'm 49, then I can buy a new house, drive a different car. I can take up more work. When I'm on Tinder and it says I'm 69, I don't get an answer. When I'm 49, with the face I have, I will be in a luxurious position. Then why not pick 39?
Right.
I guess straight men have it different. Rattleband told because you're still invisible at 49, just like you were at 40.
Right.
Telling his biological age to prospective date was cramping his style. I feel much younger than my age. I am a young god. I can have all the girls I want, but not after I tell them that I'm 69. I feel young. I'm in great shape, and I want this to be legally recognized because I feel abused, aggrieved, and discriminated against because of my age. In exchange for being legally younger, he says he would agree to renounce his pension. Yeah, that's something to consider. Because then you got to work for 20 more fucking years. I mean, think it through. This has got pluses and minuses,
Yeah,
buddy.
right?
The judge acknowledged Rattleband's argument, noting that the law does allow people to change their gender. However, he also noted that allowing people to change their birth date would mean legally deleting part of their lives, according to the Telegraph. Yeah, there's some things with that of like, you know, if you served any time in jail, have you, you know, if your college
call.
graduation
Sure.
was in those 20 years, like,
Sure.
but 40 fucking 9, and this was on one of the podcasts that one of the political podcasts that I listened to, and they're like, bitch, choose a better age. Like 49, well, why the fuck waste the time?
Right. No kidding.
No, you never know.
You went from old to like, okay, you're still fucking 49. You're not getting a job in Hollywood. Well,
Yeah.
he's a man. Again, he's a man, so he's a straight man. So there is a different sliding scale here involved.
To a degree.
A man has been arrested after he drove his truck into a courthouse in Mississippi. News outlets reported that Guilford Police Department said in a news release that 28-year-old Keith Cavalier told officers he intentionally crashed his truck into the Harrison County Courthouse early Saturday because it was the best way to let them know that his drug paraphernalia had been stolen.
God damn it.
No one was hurt in the incident. Cavalier has been charged with driving under the influence and malicious mischief.
Oh.
Malicious
I like
mischief.
that. I like that.
I'm a
Because of
fan.
the damage to the building, the Gulfport man is being held in the county jail. And as the county jail offices were closed on Monday for Veterans Day, it is not known if he currently has an attorney.
I think that's a really fair point. That malicious
Malicious mischief. I don't know.
I feel like maybe I've been arrested for that before.
Have we
I mean,
done
not
stories?
arrested. Not arrested. That's the wrong word.
You just had a mischief. Had some mischief. Did you just have some?
Miscellaneous mischief.
Miscellaneous.
Who hasn't, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, I'm just saying. Never been arrested. God, so dumb. I can't believe I said that. The end. Is it my turn?
It is back to you.
I know.
my
Back to you,
so-
fuckers.
Well, I wanted to do a little.
You're wanting to do something over here.
Yeah, is that possible or
Well,
no?
you've got so much going on,
There are three things.
so I don't know which one do you want now?
So, I want to start with. It's a little game I'd like to play.
Are we doing the silhouette,
No, actually, we'll do the Laurel.
the dress, again?
Oh, yeah. You know what? If you're okay with that, we can do the dress first.
Do I have a choice?
Say yes to the dress.
Yes,
Say
Yes to the dress.
Yes to the dress.
We've done
so
this before.
We have done this before, but it's sequential. So so remember when is it blue and white
yeah.
or blue and black or gold and white?
Witchcraft.
Right?
It was just
It
witchcraft.
was witchcraft. Now, when if you guys that are listening, I'm sure you remember when this happened a few years ago, and it was the fucking craze.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. Everybody talked about it.
Everybody was talking about it. You know, what color do you see? You could hear people in a restaurant saying, well, what do you see? And you would know they were talking about this fucking dress. So I sent a picture to Clayton that he's going to put up, but if you guys want to Google it, all you have to put is what color is the dress.
Yeah.
And
Why are we reliving this?
well, because it'll tie in.
Oh, okay.
It'll tie in. So
This
I
dress.
it's a matter of so now when you see that, Al, what do you see? What
I
colors?
see blue and black.
Just straight up, just blue and black.
You see blue and black?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I
Really?
see white and gold.
I see white and gold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I'm curious for Joe and Meow Cal and
Mama
Mama Di, and I'm not sure who else. I know Al's in there, but I don't know their six.
And Bridget's in the other page.
Oh,
So
hi
far.
Bridget. If you guys want to kind of chime in and let us know what colors you're seeing, because it
It's freaky that
fascinates
you guys
me.
see white and gold.
So Saturday, Jason, my Jason Covert, he was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He saw the black and blue as well. So I just thought that was wild, and I'm with Clayton, like how, because there's nothing about that isn't white and gold,
Yeah.
right? So how our minds work in the different things that
Yeah,
we see,
and there's
the
some,
colors.
like I said, there's some kind of witchcraft involved in that, because like that
'Cause
is
it's-
blue and black straight up.
Yeah.
And dark blue and black too. Like
Right,
not
yeah,
even
yeah,
like,
right. It's
not
not,
even questionable.
Okay, so and your mom, Clayton, sees blue and black. Mama Di sees
Put it
blue
up
and
again,
black.
see if we see something different the second time.
Stand by.
In case it's one of those things where you look
No,
at the
because
one-
you know what, they do something because there's a picture
There
that
it
I
is.
have of it.
Oh yeah, still very blue and black.
There's a picture that I have of it that is both dresses
Wow,
next to
really?
each other, and how people see it. So Meow Cow, blue and black. But if I look at it weird, I can kind of see.
So if I make it larger, does it change anything to you?
Oh, not at all. It's
No.
like royal blue and straight up black.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, but the Meow's
black
saying.
lace.
But if I look at it weird, I can sort of see where the.
I mean, there's a little bit of
White and
highlight
gold.
in the
I'm intrigued.
black
Joe
lace.
sees blue and gold.
Is
That's fantastic. So Joe's like kind
you
of in the
can
middle.
kind of see like in the black lace some gold, but the dress is just straight up like not royal blue, but like a deep blue.
It's wild to me. Absolutely wild
Yeah.
to me.
Okay.
So thank you guys. Okay, so the next thing I had never heard. Well, we'll do the one that I had heard of, the silhouette thing.
Yeah.
So there's a silhouette of a ballerina, right?
Okay.
And it's a matter of looking at it, and so you're supposed to stare at the ballerina, basically kind of at its like at the hip region, like the whatever your weight, the
Stare at her
waistline,
ass, yeah.
kind of. Now, which way is she turning, Al?
She's turning to her right.
So she's going counterclockwise.
No, I would say clockwise.
Yeah, she's turning to
But
her right.
to her right. I agree with Al.
Okay, so hi, Aaron. Okay, so you see her going clockwise. I see counterclockwise.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Now, and if you keep staring at it, like this is where it like absolutely fucked me up because I kept staring at it, and all of a sudden was like, "What the fuck?" She's going the other way. Then it's almost like it switches.
So where do I stare to make her switch?
It's not it's just a matter of not that we need to do it right here, but it's this illusion that catches you because she's still going to the left. Like it looks like she's just dancing to the left, right? But if you stare at it long enough, then all of a sudden she'll go to how does it work? As a silhouette, the figure is ambiguous. So it has no visual clues for depth, right?
Yeah.
I just saw both. Okay, so
He saw
Meow
it
Cal was
switch,
able
yeah.
to see it switch, and I did too when I first saw it, and I was like, "What the fuck? What?
Witchcraft.
Now,
what did I see?"
I have
Yeah.
a question for
Yeah,
you. Did you discover this before I fixed the hot water heater?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a lot of free time?
No, this the silhouette actually. So Di sees counterclockwise. Your mom sees counterclockwise.
Mom sees counterclockwise.
So the silhouette that we just watched, somebody showed that to me years ago.
Okay.
The dress, we all saw it basically at the same time, but this new thing it was from earlier, I believe, this year, and it's
Oh, Bridget saw it switch too.
oh, she did. Okay,
She was blue and black, and she saw it switch. First, she
Okay.
saw it clockwise, and then she saw it switch.
okay, and so the
Oh, I know what you're doing.
have you done this?
Yeah. I swear we already did this story.
No, not at all.
No,
Not
no. What's just coming?
Oh, okay.
So what you're gonna do is you're going to listen. You're just gonna listen.
Okay.
Oh, I can do that on this
And-
one. Hang on. I got too many ways.
many things.
This is
Too
what
many of
production
the
meetings are
things.
for.
Only we had them.
I
Yeah.
tried to send that stuff earlier, so but my bad.
Boom. Hang on a minute. Let me get to this. This is
Yeah.
May of this year. This is that
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
Yeah, we did it then.
Yeah.
Hang on. Where's the?
Well, I'm going to say that you didn't do all three of these things together, so
No.
that's what makes it fun to me.
Oh, that's the fun part.
I
Okay,
think so.
I like to know.
I have
Yeah.
never seen that spinning lady before. She
Yeah.
is new to
Isn't
me.
that wild? I think it's wild.
Which this is probably gonna be a goddamn commercial. Come on. You
know that.
Sorry,
hang on.
Aaron.
It's a commercial, so now I got to get through this before I can get to the video that you want me to play.
Sorry.
She's so touching.
So,
Hang on. Oh, go ahead.
so basically, this is as if we needed another thing to divide America. Some people who listen to this audio file hear one thing, and others hear something completely different. So it's like with the visual, right? With
Yeah.
the dress and with the spinning.
I really want to know how that dress thing works, because that drives me crazy.
It's like it was put on the internet just to sow discord.
Okay.
Laurel. 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 Laurel.
What are you?
Laurel. Laurel.
What are you hearing?
Laurel.
Laurel is what I hear.
That's what I'm hearing too.
Does it,
Yelly.
Yeah.
Yelly. Laurel. Laurel. Yelly.
it's the same thing being said. One's in a lower pitch, and people say it's different.
It is different.
If they play,
It sounds like Jerry.
Yelly. Laurel.
go higher.
Laurel.
That's normal version. Higher.
Laurel. Laurel.
Still hear Laurel.
Laurel. Yelly.
No, I hear Jerry.
Yelly.
Yanny. Yeah, or Yer.
Yeri, Jerry.
Yeri.
I don't get why this is a debate. It's in 3 different pitches. I don't understand why there's a
Well,
big
because he
hullabaloo.
says something different
Because
in the
it's
third
different
one.
in the third one.
But
You don't hear it, right?
I just don't get why that's a big deal. Like, it's in 3 different pitches. Of course it's going to sound different.
Right,
it's
but you
not
sound
just
like a
that.
whole different word.
Laurel or Yanny. Truly, and not on that. What we were listening to the other day was really remarkably different. And I was like, no, this is stupid, because Jason and his mom, or Jason's mom and I, excuse me, heard one thing. And then everyone else was like, no, it's Yanny. And I'm like, no, it's not. Aaron was like adamant. It's Yanny. No, there's nothing about that. And so it was wild to me. And that's what brought up the dress.
Well, the
Oh, how interesting.
millennials hear Yanny and we hear Laurel.
Because
But
of
they
the
don't sound the
sound.
same.
Oh, but Aaron, I'm wondering if that's the
Laurel.
whole,
Laurel.
Right,
It always
right.
sounds like Laurel.
but because of our
Like
hearing.
that never turned into Yanny.
Right, because of the well, no, it does. But at least it did for me. I don't know.
Or Linda Evans, who used to date Yanny.
There, Yanni. Let's get it right.
Steenstein.
That's crazy, though. I mean, why would it change? I don't get that.
Let
You
me
hear
see.
things in different octaves all the times in
Here,
different pitches.
Hold on. My bad. So
And the
right
dress
here,
thing fucking
right
bothers
here.
me.
Hold on, you ready?
Do you hear Yanny? Or Laurel? A recent Twitter poll found that 47% of people hear Yanny, while 53% hear Laurel. Clearly, this has created an internet argument that is dividing the nation.
It's
So
crazy,
what's
like-
the science behind the madness?
Like, I want to put a gun. Like, I don't believe that you guys see white and gold on the dress. Like, there's.
Yeah.
Like, I can kind of see a little bit of gold in the black, but there's no way to make that dress white. Like, that makes no sense to me.
Oh, there's nothing. That is like a light dress that if I.
Oh, and
ever
I
had-
get. I mean, I get the thing about hearing different pitches, but like you can say things in different pitches. We all listen to music. We know what things
Right.
sound like in different pitches and how it harmonizes.
Or a key change.
So
if you've
here-
ever heard a Barry
the
Manilow
third
song.
time you hear
Right.
someone singing a different pitch, it doesn't change
Here.
the word.
Okay, you guys, this is what we listen to. See if you hear this, please. Okay.
That switches right there to Yanny or Yeri. Like there's no L sounds anymore.
Right,
Like
I get when the L sound stops because the pitch has changed.
no, pitch doesn't. We all listen to music. Pitch
Or whatever-
doesn't change
whatever
a
they're
vowel, like a
changing.
consonant.
Whatever it is that they're changing.
No, they're dropping an L. Like if people are seriously, if they're not hearing Laurel in the beginning,
Because then it's not Laurel.
It is.
No, I hear Laurel, but all of a sudden when it changes and there's no L, I feel like it's a different recording.
Hold on. Right there is where I kind of start hearing it.
yeah, and it turns into Jerry. Like he stops.
And it's right up here, so it's like a almost all the way over.
But
to
they're
the
all.
right,
But he's saying the same word.
saying the same
Yeah,
exact
that
thing.
makes sense. I mean, and I get the thing about pitch because there's and they call it the marriage saver. That as you start to lose your hearing, you lose higher frequencies
Okay.
first. So deaf men can't hear their wives. That's why they call it the marriage saver
Okay.
because you lose.
That was valid between my
I
mom's
love
parents.
It. I love
Right,
it.
and
Sure.
if you go in to speak in a hard of hearing person's room, it's not speaking louder; it's usually speaking lower. Like you change your
Oh,
tone,
okay, right,
and you
right.
make it a lower. You speak in a lower register, and they'll usually hear you because it's the frequency you're hearing. But to actually lose it's not the difference of losing a consonant. You know, that's that. I mean, again, witchcraft. That's just
Yeah.
fucking witchcraft.
Well, because
if
it
that
says
person's
one-
saying the whole thing through the whole
It is.
thing,
It says.
I want that motherfucker in the room.
So of this, it says that with the lower frequencies, it says the source Laurel, a spectrogram of a vocabulary.com clip, and it shows these like the graph.
Oh, like it's haunted. See,
yeah,
it's witchcraft.
Right?
You were showing me a picture of a poltergeist.
I know it.
This is witchcraft.
One way to understand the dynamic is at work is to look at a type of chart called a spectrogram, a way to visualize how the strength of different sound frequencies varies over time. The spectrograms above show that the word laurel is strongest in lower frequencies, while a simulated version of the word Yanny is stronger in higher frequencies. The audio clip shows a mixture of both, and that's where you're able to use that slider. And I just sat there going, I don't know how the fuck you people are hearing anything but laurel. Like, and you could, people were like, shut up, I don't hear anything but.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I went, what the fuck was that? And it was like it reminded me then of the ballerina going around and then all of a sudden just flipping
And
back
there's
the
that
other way.
picture that's
Whoa.
Einstein or Marilyn Monroe. Like that one I can see both. Like you see the old man with the crazy hair and then, you know, you just focus a little different. Remember those crazy pictures from the 90s?
Yes. Oh my God.
And I don't know why they disappeared because
And
they
like
were the biggest head trip.
penguins and like all of a sudden
Like you had to like kind of blur your eyes and look at
they
them
were,
and then all of a sudden they would
not
go
hieroglyphics.
it would go 3D and all of a sudden you would see the 3D. It looked like it was just nonsense colors.
Yes.
And then you would kind of blur your eyes a little and you would see the 3D of the actual picture jump out at you.
Yep.
Nagel Painting's Ugly Sister.
No, different.
I mean, it's a little bit later than Nagel, but same.
Yeah, I like that. Joe says Laurel versus Yanni versus Jerry.
So
Next
if
on
anybody
Dr.
remembers
Phil.
what those pictures were called from the 90s, the 90s, where
It starts with an H.
with the 3D that would pop out. I thought,
Holographs.
but I know what a holograph is. It had
Oh,
a
was
name.
it Jim and the Holograms? I remember that TV series.
Hologram. Graph. It's a holograph. Telling you. God, listen to me.
I feel like it had some fancy name for the kind of art that it was. Because remember, it was on sale in all the stores.
Yeah, I know.
Because
But
you wanted to invite people over and give them a headache.
Spirograph.
yeah.
And it would help if you were like me before I got my eyes fixed. And
Magic eye?
And you had to like it because I had such bad vision that if I took off my glasses, I could see it really. And if I didn't have my contacts in, I could see them right away because they were meant to be seen. Like the blurrier your
blurriness.
eye,
Yeah.
Magic eye. That's it.
Good call.
You don't
Thank
need to
you,
shout at us,
Aaron.
Aaron. We
Thank
saw
you,
it.
Aaron. We said thank you.
So speaking of things to look at when you're high, go to Michigan because
Oh, that's good.
Michigan becomes state number 10, and they won a couple of substantial ballot initiatives across the country. So marijuana advocates scored a number of substantial ballot victories in the middle of the country on Election Day. Chief among them, the legalization of recreational marijuana in Michigan. And I didn't realize, but earlier this month, marijuana became legal in Mexico. So now, as long as you stay all the way to the west, you can smoke pot from Mexico all the way up to the Arctic Circle. You can go from below the Tropic of Capricorn.
Interesting.
Cali, Oregon, Washington State, go
Canada,
into
yep.
the Canuck area, and you're done.
Just avoid
And
Alaska.
apparently Missouri
But there's more.
passed
It's coming
that
up.
as well.
Stand by.
Michigan will be
Yeah.
the first state in the Midwest to end marijuana prohibition and replace it with a system in which marijuana is regulated for adult use. Adults will no longer be punished for consuming a substance less harmful than alcohol, and rather than having to resort to illegal market, they will be able to access it safely and legally from licensed businesses. The results in Michigan follow the opening of recreational marijuana markets in Canada and the repeal of marijuana prohibition in Mexico. With the addition of Mexico, nearly 80 million Americans, 25% of the total U.S. population, live in a state or jurisdiction that has legalized recreational marijuana. The most recent polling by Gallup shows that 2/3 of Americans adults support legalization of the drug. In deep red North Dakota, on the other hand, voters overwhelmingly rejected an unusual bill that would have legalized marijuana without setting any possession limits or regulatory structure. They went full blue and red at the same time.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
we'll let you have pot, and then we don't give a shit how you get it. The outcome in North Dakota underscores Republican skepticism of legislation. In the Gallup survey, just 53% of Republicans nationwide said they supported marijuana legalization compared to 71% of independents and 75% of Democrats. And I don't care how you do math, and I know math is hard, but if you have
I was told there'd be no math.
if you have 53% of Republicans, 71% of independents, and 75% of Democrats, you've got yourself a majority because that's a majority in all three.
Yeah.
And an overwhelming 1 and 2. So tonight, parents can sleep easy knowing their children won't wake up to more marijuana use in their school, said a man named Luke, whose last name I can't pronounce, who's the senior policy advisor to Smart Approaches to Marijuana, a group that opposes legalization. The sensible, wonderful people of North Dakota have rejected marijuana commercialization in their state. However, elsewhere on the ballot tonight, voters in Missouri, or last week, approved 1 out of 3 medical marijuana measures up for consideration, avoiding a potentially messy fight over which measure would go into law if more than one passed. These motherfuckers were high when they wrote this ballot. They had 3 separate pot bills that you had to vote on as to like how it was done, who paid taxes. Missouri's Amendment 2 allows doctors to recommend marijuana for a number of medical conditions. Patients would be able to obtain the drug either through a dispensary or by growing it at home. You can grow your own. As of this writing, medical marijuana measure in Utah is leading, and it won. So medical marijuana is now available in Utah, which is crazy. That came after supporters and opponents of the bill struck a deal with Utah's governor to call a special section of the legislature to write a compromise bill regardless of whether the measure passed. Supporters of the bill agreed to the compromise because Utah is able to overturn ballot propositions simply with a majority vote. And as we know, Utah is majority Republican, so that was going down. So they came up with a compromise. The one in Missouri that won, and let's see if this will take me to it. And we have updated. Oh, but we have to look that Claire McCaskill lost, and we're super sad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for the love of God. Fucking New York Times. Well, they lead you to something, and then they won't let you look it up.
Then they bait you.
Well, no, you got to log in or...
Pay.
Yeah, pay.
Bastards.
So, let's see if we can get Missouri marijuana laws. The one in Michigan is good though, but I think Missouri. Oh, Jesus Christmas.
Missouri votes to legalize medical marijuana. Missouri voters have approved at least 1 of 3 medical marijuana measures appearing on the state's ballot on Tuesday. Amendment 2, a constitutional amendment to allow medical cannabis, passed by a margin of 66% to 34.
Oh, went like gangbusters.
Yeah.
And I think, infamous county cunt, Kim Davis. Yep, she got voted out right away.
By the gay guy, if I'm not mistaken, the gay guy she denied a marriage license to.
Right. Which is the best kind of justice. And I can't remember if it was Missouri that had like all the different votes on how it would get paid for. So, or like where the money would go to. And the one was to veterans and to education, and it was like established right in the regulation. Michigan's was the same way, I think. Michigan had a very strict rule of how it gets paid out. But Missouri had 3 different ways that the money could go. And I was like, did you have to vote for 1 out of the 3?
I enjoyed this headline. Pressure to legalize marijuana in Missouri is high.
Good. That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
This crazy podcast that I'm listening to right now.
Which is?
This lady is, we'll talk about it in entertainment.
Okay.
But this lady is talking about, I was getting high with some friends. She's like, well, I don't want to say that. I mean to say we were getting elevated. She's like, high is a terrible word. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, really.
You're
Shut up.
stoned, bitch.
Yeah. High ass.
Yeah. Shut your high ass up.
Get in your douche canoe.
Bitch, please.
Oh my God. I'm loving Joy now. And infamous county cunt Kim Davis.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know it.
Uh,
Good. Get out.
And she went down early and fast.
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah. Although married 9 times.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good Christian,
Hence-
though.
That's why you
Hence
gotta
why
keep
she got divorced.
Yeah. It's like
She
Bristol
refused.
Palin. She
Right.
keeps getting pregnant because she gives shitty blowjobs.
That's right. If she'd just savor it.
Choices.
Yeah, exactly. Just be good at that one
Yeah.
thing and you'll stop getting
Well, and
knocked
the
out.
other the other child keeps getting arrested for domestic abuse.
Oh, he keeps beating them.
Trig, trap,
Whatever.
trunk.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't know.
They're all just sounds.
Something.
Defendant.
Defend it. Yeah, exactly.
Litigant.
Yeah.
Where are story? Whose story?
Specifically named yours. Specifically named co-conspirator.
Well, this one I thought was good, and it encompasses 2 states and a thing that we talk about all the time. Prop 7 in California. California voters say it's time to stop resetting clocks twice a year. Voters,
did that win?
Voters approved Proposition 7, which is the first step toward permanent year-round daylight savings time. The measure still requires a 2/3 vote from the legislator and a change in federal law to take effect.
Follow-up question.
I haven't read the whole story.
Okay.
Why don't you hold your questions?
All right, just remember that I'm here and I have a question.
It'll be tough to forget.
Try not to move on, yeah.
No,
Democratic Representative Kanan Chu of San Jose says he sponsored Proposition 7 because changing the clocks twice a year is a hassle. He said it also has been shown to increase the risk of car accidents and heart attacks following the spring change when people lose an hour's sleep after moving clocks forward. Now, in related news, Texas would no longer be springing forward or falling back either if one of the lawmakers' proposed bills lives to become a law there. State Representative Lyle Larson, who is a Republican, has already filed a bill that would end the observance of daylight savings time in Texas. Under House Bill 49, the act would go into effect November 4th of 2019, a year from now, to coincide with the end of daylight savings time for 2019. Now, of course, in Texas, House Bill 49 is still in the early stages. It would still need to go through 6 more steps, including getting out of the House and Senate committees.
Just getting out of the house.
Just get out of the house.
Just get out of the house.
Being voted on by both the House and Senate and getting signed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott before finally becoming law. This isn't the first attempt for Texas to break free from daylight savings time. I guess back in 2017, another House Bill 95 was proposed, and it got kicked out. And then I didn't realize this. Texas wound up in daylight savings time in the first place, which I think a lot of other states did too, when President Lyndon Johnson signed into law in 1966. Daylight savings time was designed to save energy at a time of rising oil prices, according to them. But I thought it actually had to do with farmers.
I thought farmers, right.
Okay, and we'll have this conversation one more time. The people that most
I love it when he's so fucking condescending.
do not want it. The people that are most hurt by daylight savings time are farmers.
Really?
Because it makes
look,
it makes it light later. They get up early and farm. Farmers don't sleep in and farm later.
Right.
They get up early.
But that's because I think the reason that it's always thought that is because of the Farmer's Almanac. Like, you think
Maybe
about
so.
all the farmers kind of stuff.
And
no,
the farmers
we're
are the ones
same.
that don't
But
want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But it's when you say it again
But
and again that it makes
I
sense.
think it would be wonderful if that got momentum and went.
It's designed to make the summer days longer. So when it's nice weather outside, according to it's from some fucker in England in the turn of the century, it was an idea to make it so it's summertime. Let's make the day longer so when we have this good weather where it's always shitty, we can enjoy the sunlight. And why waste it in the goddamn morning?
Sure.
Make it after work when we can relax and enjoy the sunshine. And then it became, Winston Churchill pushed it. It became big during the war.
Okay.
And then I didn't realize it was as late as the 60s. I thought
This
the U.S.
says
would.
66.
I mean, if it's Lyndon Johnson. But I know that a lot of the states went on it during the war and then just never came off of it. And again, that doesn't make a lot of sense either because they were trying to like turn off lights and make the city dark, make the cities dark, so they couldn't be in case there was any like bombers coming.
Right. Air attacks.
But it is specifically, it's the farmers that always want to fucking end it. And then the people that are like, why is it so goddamn dark at 3 p.m.?
What was your question?
So my question is that California wants to stay on the wrong time. They want to stay on daylight savings time. Because most people bitch now. Most people bitch about turning the clocks back now, the fall back. Because all of a sudden it's dark so early, but this is standard time. And that's the other part that people mostly get wrong, which we talk about all the time in the show. The altered time is the summer. Daylight savings time is the summer. Spring forward.
Spring forward, fall
This
back.
is standard time. So when everybody's like, oh my God, now it gets dark so early, stop doing this. If you go to standard time, this is the time that the sun comes up. This will never change.
That won't change, right?
It's
I thought it changes when when we go back into summer and the Earth
That's
rotate.
no,
I understand that, but when that changes, doesn't that? I thought that changes when our sun comes up.
right. But you know how because if you remember when we lived somewhere where you did it, when you did the fall back, all of a sudden it got dark at 2:00 in the afternoon because you fell back.
True.
So the clocks went back an hour. So what used to be 4:00 is now 3:00, and you're like, why is the sun down? Like we live in darkness. But that's standard time. Right now, everybody's on
I
standard
just
time.
called it
I
shitty
don't give a
weather.
fuck what they do. I just want them to stay on one of them.
Right.
Exactly. So that's the thing. So I didn't realize California was voting to stay on daylight savings time. You would think for them, they would want to get rid of daylight savings time. They're a place like us. We don't go on daylight savings time because in the summertime we don't want it to be light till 11:30 at the fuck at night. We want the sun to go down at 9:30 like God intended.
Yeah.
Voters approved Prop 7, the first step towards permanent year-round DST.
Yeah.
Daylight savings time. So they want what we just came off of, right?
What they just came off of.
Right. What they just came off of.
Right.
Where we are the same time as them.
Right.
And now we lose an hour because of the change. So I'm on board with that one. I want that one.
Where we're on.
Same time as California.
But we're not at the same time. Oh, wait, daylight savings time we are.
Right.
Because they would put them at Mountain Standard Time.
Right.
We are, and that's the thing that no one ever gets.
Right now we're the same time as Denver.
Right. We are always Mountain Standard Time, but they go to daylight savings time, and it fucks us up, which is why you can never say that because they think it's the farmers, they think the altar. So when everybody's like, what time zone are we in? We are Mountain Standard Time, 24 hours a fucking day, 365 days a year.
Right.
But because no one knows what daylight savings time is, you can't say that to them. They don't know which part of the year is standard time.
Sure.
Right. Now,
But we are always Mountain Standard Time.
our time never changes. So
Right.
That's why we're always
Ours
Mountain
and
Standard.
I know.
Illinois?
Let me finish
No,
my
Indiana.
thought.
Indiana,
You always
okay.
interject. You always have to be first.
I know. And Mimi, I'm
Our
first.
time doesn't change. So I'm correct though. When the Earth rotates, like right now, it gets dark at 5:30, but we didn't change time.
Right. That's just a normal.
I understand that.
Equinox, the vernal
Right.
autumnal
So
equinox, right?
yes. So that's fine. Let's just
Yeah.
leave it there.
Yeah.
Leave it where
You
we
are correct.
Yeah, I
But
am.
if you think about it, now it's
I'm
getting,
often correct, and people don't realize it.
well, it would be if we did. It wouldn't because we're already on this time.
Yeah.
But if we went the hour earlier, then like on November 3rd, the sun would have went down at like 8:15, and then we would have bumped it back to 7:15. You know what I mean?
So we need to stay on DST all the time.
No, that would change us. We're never on daylight savings time. We are always on Mountain Standard Time. We never go on daylight
What I'm
savings time.
saying is, if the rest of the fucking country went to DST and California, which is what they want us that way we'd be at the same time.
But we don't want that because in the summertime when the days are longer, if we went to daylight savings time,
Our time wouldn't change.
yes, it would because we're in Mountain Standard Time. If we switch to daylight savings time, we would go ahead an hour. So that means in the summertime when the day is longer to catch up with California, we would go ahead an hour. We don't live in California.
No, I know. I'm well
east.
aware.
Right. So you see, because of the way the sun sets and where we sit on the planet, we would to go to daylight savings time.
Right.
This feels like one of those things from math.
Who's on first?
You know, no, that one
Right.
of those things like 2 trains leave
Right.
at whatever, and that always gave me a big headache.
Or the silhouette
It does,
spins.
and that's why it gives you
Yeah,
such a
right,
headache. But
right.
most people want to stay on standard time. They want to stop with the day. That's why I was so surprised by what he said about the bill, because California is like us. It's hot there. It's
Yeah.
sunny there. You want to cut down on your air conditioning bills. You want relief.
Sure.
If you live where Aaron and Harrison do, you don't want that sun goddamn up. If they went to Pacific Standard Time, if they
Right.
stayed on Pacific Standard Time, then the sun would go down and their houses would cool earlier. They would stop having to use air conditioning at like 8 o'clock instead of 9 and 9:30.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like daylight savings time makes the day longer and more awful in the summer,
Sure.
which we in
Yeah,
the
'cause
Sun
we
Belt
spring
don't.
ahead.
We don't
Right,
want
right.
that. We don't want to be on daylight
don't
savings
disagree.
time. We want the daylight to go away in the summer. We want it to be dark and cool so we can enjoy the air conditioning and get our tin roofs cooled off.
Rusted.
Right, yeah, that's a crazy choice for them. If they were New York or they were like up north, that would make more sense.
Yeah, because Meow Cow, fuck standard time.
Right.
Give me daylight savings 24/7 because it's still dark at 7 a.m. in the morning and dark at 3 p.m. So we're in total darkness anyway. And Minnesota is like it.
Right.
And if you work nights, you're fucked.
Right.
I mean, when they talk seasonal depression, so real.
Because
And
the
tha-
further
and
north
you know
you go,
what? Same thing.
the actually shorter the days get in the
Yeah.
winter
Oh, I
because of what you're
understand.
talking about.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so when you're in
They
New
get
York,
an hour and
it's
a half.
sunlight for like exactly.
Yeah.
Up to 2 hours of daylight today.
That's it. Right.
Right.
And if it's cloudy, fuck it.
Fuck it.
yeah. Yeah, because and it doesn't.
Is
mean
it day
like,
or night? Who knows?
I don't know.
It's a mystery.
Because if you're, it doesn't matter if you're in snowy weather or this or that, because in Washington or just anything, like if the rain, the inclement weather, I mean, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's just dreary.
Yeah,
And then if
it is, yeah.
And then in the summer, when the days are so long, the further north you go, that's why they have the land of the midnight sun, because the sun only sets for like an hour or two a day.
And that's in
So that doesn't even matter. You
is
can
that
do
in
whatever you want
Alaska?
to. Yeah,
We don't care about them.
The further north, but that's what I'm saying. So we're so
They
far.
can see Russia from their house because it's always light.
Because it's well lit.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's craziness, but it really is. I know with what's going on in California, it's just rain that's going to help them. Turn on the sun, turn off the sun, and we
A
got
lot
to
of
say,
rain.
like,
Right.
God bless all of them. The fact that they evacuated Malibu is horrifying. It'd be like evacuating
Who had,
Mesa.
somebody had.
Or actually, probably more like evacuating Tempe. Mesa's a little bit bigger.
I have no idea who to give credit to on this, but there was something that that I saw about. Hi, Harrison.
Yeah, see?
Ass hats.
Again, I
about
don't care
get
which
those
one they
people-
do. I just want one done, and I don't want
Right,
to
right.
change. I don't want to have to. Is Missouri 2 hours, 3
Right,
hours?
right,
How many
I know,
times different?
I know.
Fuck it. I want
Yeah.
all to be the same.
About the fact that get those fucking people that, and not that they're the fucking people, but get the troops off the line of the border and let them go ahead and help firefight.
Fighters, yeah.
They showed a map
And
just
I don't
before
know,
showtime
yeah.
on MSNBC of the border
Yeah.
of
Well, they're here,
our border of Mexico
Caravan.
and America, United States. I mean,
Yeah.
they showed where the troops are. They're in Brownsville, Texas.
Oh my God.
You know where that caravan's reportedly going? San Diego. Don't know why. Who put them there?
No.
They got a whole fucking border, and they're
And they've got like
several
a month and a
thousand
half
miles-
to figure out
Yeah.
the turn. Let's turn to the left.
Let's go over there.
Wait, I have an idea. I have an idea here. I think that Donnie had his crayon,
Yeah.
and he was like, and then I want you to go here, and he drew, and then he went like that, and he just
He can't stay in the lines. It's a
Can't
problem.
stay in the lines. Yep.
Those troops need to go to California and
Yeah.
help those people fight
Yeah, they
what
do.
they're doing.
But
They do.
Just, I mean,
God
it's
bless 'em.
heartbreaking
Oh,
to
it
see that.
is.
I mean, and
Entire cities are
Oh.
gone.
And a place called a place called
Parad-
Paradise.
Yeah.
I mean, you just the whole thing. It's just
horrible.
awful.
it's terrifying to watch. But when you think of like when someone says like a tsunami's coming, evacuate an area, and you're like,
Yeah.
how do you all get out on one road? How does all of Malibu evacuate? Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
heard that and my heart just
There's
stopped.
like 2 ways in
Oh, absolutely.
or
not.
out of
Yeah.
Malibu.
It's just a terrifying thing to think of that big of an area.
Yeah, and Meowcal was saying for some people in Minnesota that they leave in the dark, get home in the dark. As far as
Oh, I
with
remember
work.
that in Missouri.
Yeah.
I remember that very well.
We and that's where I was talking about that seasonal depression because
Yeah.
both Mom and I work nights, and so we're sleeping
Through the
when
daylight.
it might
Might be.
be kind of, but it's
Right.
usually kind of cloudy anyway. But
Right.
And that's what I mean about
it
hiking
was
today.
awful.
Like
you
it was
wake up, it's dark. You go to
hiking
work,
today was
dark.
actually good for the soul to
Yeah.
see some sunlight, to get some fresh
to
air.
get the vitamin D, just all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, get up in the morning, mom would leave for work, at 6:30 in the morning, it'd be dark. And we'd, school bus would catch us, at 7:30, whatever the hell
Yeah.
time it was. And then we'd be home, and she'd roll back in at 6:30 in the evening from work, and it'd dark again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally remember that.
The sun's coming up. Depending on what job I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the sun is up. But like if I get out early enough, like it's dark and dark.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've had such a delicious weather change.
Yeah.
I mean this.
Oh.
Well, and
This
that's what's so.
67
and
degrees
I'm
for
not,
a high.
I'm certainly
But
not
dry
bitching
is
about
about
it.
because
Right.
God forbid anything started on
I
fire out
know.
here because there's not not
well,
a
and you know how
drop
they
of
kept
moisture.
calling they're calling
The one, the
the
campfire.
one the campfire. I keep like initially until I caught on to that. Ignorantly, I had only heard pieces of that, and I thought, oh my God, it was started by a fucking campfire.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
I don't know where their name
no,
is from.
but it's just called campfire. And what I heard, and Aaron and Harrison, I'm not sure what you guys have heard there, but just before I left today, they were talking that, like the APS, the electrical, had said that there had been something going on in that area that was faulty.
Oh, that's right, because the power company had called the lady the day before about power line issues or something was wrong.
Okay.
And that was the night that the fire started.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, that they're
Actually,
thinking
Aaron
that.
probably knows way more,
Yeah.
because I'm sure
Oh,
that's on
God.
every 5 minutes on
But
that.
then there's the
there.
one up in Northern California that's huge.
Yeah.
Huge
I know
too.
it,
Sacramento,
I know it,
somewhere
yeah.
north of
above,
Sacramento.
yeah, above
'Cause Kat's
Sacramento. That's
family-
Paradise, right?
Kat's family is very close to that one.
Okay.
Not as close as it would seem on the news, but close enough.
A friend of mine is outside of it, and he had a picture. I'm like, why are you taking video of the fire?
Oh,
Because
and-
if you can fucking take video of the fire, get out.
Well, MSNBC was playing when I'm done with them because they just hired Corey Lewandowski, and he was on fucking
Stop
Chris
it.
Matthews today, and I was like, don't make me hate my TV, because that's why I stopped watching CNN. So now I got to go back to CNN, because if Corey Lewandowski is going to be on there, then me and MSNBC
Oh
are
wait,
breaking up.
I'm sorry. I have 2 words for you. Wah wah.
Yeah, that's that fucker.
I know.
Yeah, that's that fucker.
Also, I understand everyone that's really one word and not really a word, but it was 2 times.
It
I
was
gonna
2
say.
times.
Yeah.
So
What a dick.
But Sunday we were at the On Your Feet thing, and Kat was telling us about the where the fire is, and her parents live outside of Sacramento, but not in the direction that, not in the
It's
direction
her
of the
other
fire.
family that's in Idaho, like grandparents.
There's family in Idaho and
Utah.
and then, but I think her parents are in outside of Sacramento.
Aaron, I think that's funny.
There's a speaking of sick burns, really.
Okay.
When it comes to that, enjoy this one about Cuntalicious. Hence why I wore my shirt today.
Hey,
Because-
cunt muffin.
Hey, cunt muffin, get in your douche canoe, and cunter,
Oh God.
and
Why,
fucking
why?
cunter, because this is too good, and it's just too good. And Cunter's job is to write unpleasant tweets for the amusement of mean people that are not smart enough
Awful
to
people.
think of clever insults on their own. In the last few days, Cunter has kept herself busy insulting doctors who save the lives of bullet wound victims. It all started with a tweet from the NRA chiding self-important anti-gun doctors to stay in their lane. Bunch of fucking assholes.
They're a
It
terrorist
says-
organization, in case we haven't said that
I
enough
know,
lately.
right? From the NRA on November 7th, the tweet was, someone should tell self-important anti-gun doctors to stay in their lane. Half of the articles in the Annals of Internal Medicine are pushing for gun control. Most upsetting, however, the medical community seems to have consulted no one but themselves.
Yeah, because they're the ones patching up the bullet fucking holes, dickwads.
Doctors were quick to point out that the gun violence is very much in their lane. Do you have any idea how many bullets I pull out of corpses weekly? This isn't just my lane, it's my fucking highway. Judy Melanek, MD. So then
Let's ring a
Yeah,
bell for
ring
her.
a bell
and
for Judy.
Spot
Yeah.
on, lady.
So shortly after
She needs to
that,
run for Congress now and get that last turd ball out. Nunez, what's his name?
oh, that
Nunez.
Devin Nunez, Nunez.
That Dana lost was fantastic.
Yeah,
but
that.
but isn't Nunez? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll
So
answer my own question.
shortly after, the increasingly desperate for attention Cunter tweeted one of her standard false equivalencies. Ready? Because this is really good. She's a dumbass. Emergency room doctors pull cue balls, vines, and gummy bears out of human orifices every week. That doesn't make them experts on pool, horticulture, or chewy candy. And another woman doctor.
I could put like
another,
20 gummy bears up my ass before I even get sick.
Another female doctor.
Very specific.
Because
Not 21.
Yeah.
Not 21.
$49.95.
Yeah.
It's two.
Phil's one.
So, right, Phil's one. So Judy was the first doctor who had come back at the NRA, right? And then Kathleen London, MD, made short work of Coulter's mean-spirited foolishness. She said, well, we do examine assholes all day, so it does make us an expert on them, and you qualify. Nicely done, Kathleen London, MD. Love her. So, fuck you, Ann Cunter.
Always.
Fuck you, the NRA.
Always.
Because for real,
There's there's two organizations and cunts I will never be on their side.
Not ever, not ever. And I just
I
don't.
mean, Ann Coulter could be on fire, and I would walk right past
like
it.
that.
Yeah, I would seriously be like,
I love that picture. I'm like, good.
She had it coming. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's terrible.
We'd all start singing.
That's a human being. I would seriously step over her dying body.
I don't. You know, I gotta be.
I'd be
honest
like,
with
oh,
you. I
I'm
wouldn't want to.
I'm a waitress, dear. Sorry.
I think that it would just smell too much. So I wouldn't want to smell that rotting flesh. I'd have to probably help her out.
Plus,
but-
I'd be like, isn't this how we find out if you're a witch? We got to see how it ends. I never remember.
Are you melting?
Is it burn him or drown him?
Right,
I wouldn't piss in her mouth if her guts were on fire.
Ah, fair point.
Wow, that's really vulgar. I like that one
I
too.
like it. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I don't know. She's just terrifying.
And
the
Aaron
fact
says,
that-
and doctors telling family members someone has died.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ann Coulter, have
Yeah.
that conversation a couple times about a gunshot wound.
Right.
She,
But and the NRA. I mean, the fact that they just think that way. Like what self-important?
which is them as a terrorist
Oh,
organization.
exactly.
Right.
Self-important. What the fuck do you know?
I know. Unbelievable. Assholes.
So I really had run out of like any kind of political. I couldn't take anything anime So I had stopped listening to. I didn't watch the Pod Save America on HBO. I stopped watching Bill Maher. I just could not take anymore because I'm like, I've lost my sense of humor when it comes to most of the shit.
Yeah.
So now I'm backtracking and watching all of them.
And
Since
you saw the good one?
Since we had a positive attitude, but he had his anniversary one, the 25th anniversary of his time on TV, taking us through politically incorrect and his firing from ABC for a very controversial statement. Like he really got it was a troubled time. The week of, maybe you get away with that a year later, but you could see. We were too raw for that joke.
Yeah.
You know, not that joke, but that conversation.
Yeah.
We weren't there yet.
Yeah.
There's a conversation to be had in a time of tragedy.
Right.
That one may have been a little
Too soon.
early.
Yeah. Too soon?
And you
Too
could see
soon.
where you might
Yeah.
have to go. You might have to rely on your sponsors.
Right.
But when I saw the commercial, I thought it was going to be a 25th anniversary with like his favorite guests, and since he's had Ann Coulter on for fucking ever, I saw the commercial and I was like, I can't. Like, I can't watch it. Like when she's on there, I need medication.
Sure.
I need like every drug you can throw at me.
Yeah.
And then I have to have cushions that I can throw and people I can hit.
Yep.
Because she's just an awful
Not
human
cushions,
being.
bricks.
No, I don't want to hurt my TV.
No, right.
Fair point.
If she
Okay.
was in front of me, bricks, my TV gets cushions. Well, she just had a blurb, but so I finally watched the 25 year special, and I'm not a witch, like Chris O'Donnell. What was her name?
Christine O'Donnell.
Christine
Oh,
O'Donnell.
yeah.
She always
Maryland,
a guest on that
Maryland,
show.
Yep.
Always on that show. Turns out a frequent guest. The amount of clips they had with the blonde bitch, Trump administration,
Megyn Kelly.
Nope. Ted Cruz's pollster, and then she's an advisor for Trump. Awful.
Oh,
cunt.
Kelly Conway? Kellyanne?
No.
Kellyanne Conway.
Kellyanne.
Kellyanne Conway back in the 90s was on there.
was totally
I
not
mean,
thinking that.
constantly. She was on like every fourth clip.
Really?
He has had these, and God bless him. And it was a little self-congratulatory, which any 25-year show is going to be a little bit about, look what I can do. But God damn it, can he back that up with the people that he had paired together
Sure.
on those panels and before the new format, back when it was just throw a topic out and let two
Bloodbath.
conservatives, two liberals just go at it. But Kellyanne Conway was on that show all the fucking time.
Okay.
All the times he
didn't
hugged her
realize
was shocking. Every time they showed a clip, I'm like, God damn it, that's a different outfit.
Right,
That's
right.
not the same fucking show. But incredible.
Now, what lie was she selling then?
Yeah.
Like, was she on both sides of every
who
story?
even
the
knows?
same,
But
right.
I mean, it would have been through the Clinton year. I mean, he was on from, I can't remember, 25 years ago, 93. So he didn't start till Clinton was actually in office. He was never on for Bush the first. But, oh my God. And I watched, as soon as we got, and granted, we all know that Phoenix was disastrously and criminally late getting Comedy Central. So it probably wasn't until like 94 or 95 that Comedy Central first came on. And I saw Politically Incorrect, and I'm like, I don't know what this is, but we gotta
watch it. Right.
Because I don't remember his stand-up. I never heard of him before that show. And I just remember being fascinated by it. Like, who and how do they not swear? I could
Yeah.
never figure out. Some of those arguments were so heated. I mean, they took on Columbine when it happened. They
Oh,
took on like the
sure.
Clinton thing. They took on the Waco. I mean, all the topics that they covered on that show. The Oklahoma bombing, and they
yep.
took it from like all the things that
94,
were never politicized and no holds barred. He was not kidding. He was never one to like
Sure.
that's too far, and that's why he eventually got fired, because eventually
Yeah.
they did go too far. And not even too far. Like, now you watch it and you're like, all right, that's kind of an okay point, but you're like, it's also not September 15th,
Right.
2001. Like, there's a
Yeah.
difference between 18 or 17 years later and 5 days after.
Who was the other person who it was just too soon? Gilbert Gott? Was it Gilbert?
No, it's a political guy whose name I never remember. No, but the other
what
two,
did he? Because he did something.
the
that
other
was
2 or 3
too
people
soon.
that were there were like, oh.
Oh, okay.
But the show aired, and he didn't get canceled to the end of the season. Like, he wrote it out. Like, they had their backlash. There was a lot of talk, but they didn't cancel him till 2002. And then he came to, like, I think they canceled him in, like, April or May of 2002, and he came back on
In the fall.
Right, like, right after the, like, right before the start of the Iraq War.
Oh,
But a terrific, if
Unreal.
you get a chance to see, and just to see how many people that are still around. In the episode where he actually smoked a joint on screen,
okay. I don't remember
Anna
that.
Navarro was one of the guests. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was
I've
it with
heard
Snoop
of it,
Dogg
but yeah,
with
I
him?
didn't.
Is that the
No,
one he
it
did
wasn't.
with?
It wasn't Snoop Dogg. It wasn't Snoop Dogg. It was another guy, and he pulls out like a blunt, like this big motherfucking thing, and he lights it up as his point about something. And I forgot that it's Anna Navarro. That's like, all right, like I don't even want like. Not that she didn't want to be, she was offended they were smoking it. She's like, I don't want a contact high out of this. Like, I don't get high. And that
Right.
thing's so fucking
Yeah.
huge. Because he hands it to the person that's in the middle of the panel. He hands it across the table.
That's funny.
So
I
really
remember
cool.
hearing about
but
it,
to
not
see
seen it.
all these people that are still involved in our politics, still commentating, and that before they just towed the party line and just said the talking points, the fact that they were like kind of thinking on their own.
Yeah. Well, and the
And
fact
it's all
that
some of it's pre-Fox News.
Sure. Oh, sure. But the fact that they are friendly-ish with each other as well.
Ann Coulter and
it's
him always
just-
claim to be
I
friends.
know. And it's just like Amy Klobuchar was talking about from Minnesota, like Lindsey Graham is a good friend of mine. I don't think that was a political statement. I think it was real, and I thought, oh dear sweet Jesus.
Well, the one thing that was true had she won in 2008 was that Clinton and McCain and a few of those senators that eventually got voted out were very tight.
oh,
Like
right,
if she had,
right.
Obama went into office without a lot of backing. He wasn't known. He hadn't forged relationships.
Oh, it was Killer Mike. Was it Killer Mike?
Killer Mike, yes.
In February 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, Killer Mike.
And it wasn't legal yet, recreationally. Yes, Killer Mike is on out there all the time. But it had Clinton gone in, she actually had a base of bipartisan support that Obama didn't quite have yet, and then they just decided to like kill him in the water and like vote on everything he did.
Right.
But she had some favors called in and some people that were on her side because she was very popular in the Senate. Like she was not disliked.
No, that's absolutely true.
But
Yeah.
when she, and that's who they thought they were like, and there was a plan to kind of work with her if she won, but then she got fucked over by John Edwards.
Well, but you can, and you
'Cause
can.
that motherfucker took off of some of her votes in the
I
beginning.
know, absolutely.
That
That
motherfucker. She's been
sons
screwed
of
over.
bitches.
She's
I
been
know,
screwed
just-
over by cheating men her entire life.
Amen.
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 Speaking of
Can I get an amen? In here?
Amen.
John Edwards, for some reason, made me think of
Haircuts.
the new movie that's coming out.
The front
Hugh
runner, Gary Hart?
Yes, I just
That
saw the
looks
previews.
really good. Doesn't that
Just
look
saw the
good?
preview of that last night. No, was it? No, I saw it in the previews to Bohemian Rhapsody, and then he was on Colbert last night. Hugh Jackman was.
And so I forgot to follow up. Like, did you feel like you needed something more about Freddie's sexuality from that movie?
Oh no.
Yeah, like I was like, yep, he's gay. He does dirty stuff with
And I
bunches of
didn't
people.
realize until later that the trucker that he sees in that one scene where the trucker pulls up and walks to the restroom. That's
You ready?
That's God damn it, on my screen, Adam Lambert.
Oh, that's not. I was thinking that you were gonna say the look at me. And,
Not Adam Lambert.
The trucker if I'm not mistaken,
It very well could
the
be.
trucker that when he's at the truck stop
Yeah,
on
I
the
did-
phone, and that trucker walks by him and walks into the restroom, it's Adam Lambert.
Who's the? God damn it! The Mike Myers.
Mike Myers plays
Yeah.
He's in it.
Yeah, the
That's
EMI.
what I thought you were.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
That guy.
That's who I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, no, but it was I didn't need anything more out of that. I totally got everything I needed out of that.
Yeah, sneaky cameo in Queen's biopic Bohemian Rhapsody.
Adam Lambert's the trucker.
Wow.
Thought that was, and
That's
I
great.
Didn't
Good
see it
catch
at all.
on your part. Yeah.
And if you don't know it, I don't think you would have known that was Mike Myers either. That's
Right.
pretty good.
I saw him right away. That one I picked out.
He looked, great. But
Looks,
no,
yeah.
but I didn't need anything else about. I just thought it was great. The conflicts with his parents and his life. It was a well-rounded.
Al.
Yeah. Oh yeah! Wow, that I did not catch at all.
Well done, Clayton.
And I didn't
Yeah.
know, and I didn't catch
know
it
that.
watching it. I caught it on somebody's Twitter feed or somebody else. I didn't catch it myself. No.
Okay.
Ah.
'Cause
Come
that's
Uh,
fantastic.
One last story before
But
we.
I like that Michigan was worried about the pot with Canada. Please don't go to. Please stay here and do your last two touristy things.
Before we move on to the entertainment section, another celebrity
It's gonna be
has
super
joined.
short.
Another celebrity has joined the long list of people who have had run-ins with the law. A sheriff's deputy in Pasco County, Florida, pulled over Fred Flintstone on November 4th
That was my other
for
story.
speeding in Wesley Chapel Housing Development. Police identified the driver as Mr. Fred Flintstone and said his real name is Don Swartz. He was nabbed in a smart car customized to look like the foot-powered caveman car seen in the 1960s cartoon series. Here's a shot of him in the car. Dumbass.
Hysterical.
The sheriff's office said in a Facebook post that Flintstone became unruly after being issued a speeding citation. He was later released with a notice to appear in court. The post jokes that the prehistoric smart car was seized and is now part of the police fleet. This is what intelligence-led police. This is what
Now part of the fleet.
intelligence-led policing looked like in the Stone Age, said the post, which included pictures of the vehicle and a barefoot driver dressed in Flintstone's garb. There's one shot, and then they get him out of the car, and he's standing next to What a dumbass.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That's great.
How funny is that?
I love
When I
it.
first moved out here, Beth and Bill, back when they were young and fresh, had a contest on whatever station they were on at the time.
99.9, right?
I think they were on like 94.5 though, way back when. I think
Oh,
they were on
okay.
a different station. But they had this contest about singing if you could sing the song from the Flintstones for money, and it took like a whole day because nobody knew.
Nobody could do it all.
Yeah, nobody knew
never,
the one
never
line.
do time.
Oh, the courtesy of Fred's 2 feet.
The courtesy of Fred's 2 feet held people up for days.
Oh, okay.
And every time
and back then
somebody
you couldn't
had
just Google it.
yeah, and every time somebody had a
Sure.
guess, I'm like, oh, that must be it. Because as I got there, I'm like, oh, I do just
It
mumble
fits.
through that part.
Yeah.
And then they
Sing that part, because I can't. Which
with
part?
the courtesy of Fred's 2 feet.
Flintstones.
I'm gonna
Meet
tell you,
the
I don't know
Flintstones.
that I ever knew that.
Yeah, and it was just funny because
I
every
would have
person
mumbled my way through it.
and
yeah.
they even played it first, so you could like do it, and
Right,
one
and then
could get the
nobody got
lyric-
it.
No one
Yeah.
got the lyric right.
Right.
Oh, how funny is that? Because I never. When you said that, I'm like, okay. I'm trying to.
And
I'm
it was a
going
whole
through it.
it was a whole day of like radio that I kept
Funny.
checking back in on back in the day.
That's
That,
funny.
yeah, that's a.
I love it. I love it.
And didn't they have a gay old time?
Hey,
No,
we'll
they
have a
did.
gay old time.
Barney always
Yeah.
worried me.
Oh, yeah.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. They're a modern Stone Age family. From the town of Bedrock, they're a page right out of history. That night, with the family down the street.
Courtesy of Fred's 2 feet.
Yeah, now it's like shouting at me. Like, I hear it, you know. That's funny because I heard it clear as day there.
And I do think it's funny. They're a page right out of history. No.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Not
All
really.
the dinosaurs in
Yeah,
it. No.
right.
And they have that new meme with the dinosaur saying, "I give my kids Flintstones vitamins," and there's the baby
haven't seen that.
baby dinosaur eating Fred.
Oh, I haven't seen
that's
that
really
one.
cute.
funny.
I haven't seen that. That's great.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, well, it's time to do this because we can. Here we go.
super short version. We have a movie recommendation for the action film enthusiasts. Start time for a start date for Game of Thrones that was just announced, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what's wrong with jukebox musicals.
Jukebox musical.
In quite some depth.
Yeah.
Is there a jukebox hero in there somewhere by chance?
There hasn't been yet.
Oh.
Maybe
that's
Grandma.
unfortunate.
No,
Maybe
actually,
Grandma.
nope. There is one good jukebox musical.
Oh my gosh. We'll be back
Just the
in
one, dear.
2 minutes.
What a fucking disguise this is.
You're listening to Q Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the beginning of Hour 3, the C Block, the final hour, if you will, of tonight's show, and I know you're all happy about that. Hi, everybody in the chat room. Aaron from LA, Harrison, Joe DeGanzik, Meow Cow is in there as well. I don't know who else is in there at this time. Mama Di, she wasn't there earlier. She's still listening from the comfort of her. By the way, I don't know if my mom is fully recovered. She was a little under the weather earlier in the week. Hopefully we have fully recovered and she's ready to take on the world from her couch. We have a mystery at Mom's house, by the way.
What's happening?
Rocks keep getting in the pool. And I theorize that potentially birds are doing it for whatever we're not sure, but they keep getting. There's no other way for rocks to get in our pool. So I'm going to take one of my cameras up and we're going to put it on, fix it on the pool and monitor. And we're going to see if we can figure out what the hell critter is putting rocks in her pool.
I'm going to tell you that until you figure that out,
Yeah?
I'll wait.
I'll just be right here.
Be right there.
Kind of scares the shit out
All
of me.
right. Well, they're a little rock, and they just keep getting in her vacuum, and it stops the vacuum.
She's got rocks in her vacuum.
It's
crazy.
Rocks in your vacuum or
Anyhow.
what? I can't get the rocks out of my vacuum.
Anyway, let's turn the reins over to Al Perkins because he hasn't talked enough this show.
I don't know
It's
who that
true.
is.
I've been strangely quiet.
I regret buying both of them.
It's back to the perfume counter.
I saw a white woman buy this, so I did too.
You do it for the dick.
Just fantastic.
When men
So-
learn we can shapeshift, it's over.
I have nostrils. Hide the nostrils.
Hide the nostrils. Breathing is
I
overrated.
still have nostrils. Oh, the nostrils.
Rich people don't need nostrils when you've
Men
got
do not
somebody
like
else's
nostrils.
money. Go ahead.
We might need to finish up with that again too. So for the action movie enthusiast and submarine movie enthusiast, and that Venn diagram for me is pretty big. Hunter Killer with a recently homeless Gerard Butler, who sadly his house burned in the fires.
That's what I understood.
And then I gotta find the name of the actress who I very much enjoy, who is here as the president is a woman too. What the fuck is her name? It'll come to me, or I'll see it here.
Sure.
She used to be on ER for a long time, and her name's not coming up here, and she was like second build.
Are you talking about with the black curly hair?
No, not her. She was a nurse. She was one of the nurses, and that was the nurse too.
Lady nurse.
Lady nurse.
Hey, lady. Hey,
Linda,
lady nurse.
Linda Cordellani, whatever her name is. She's fabulous. I love her. She's from Freaks and Geeks back in the day where everybody became a star, but the show wasn't a hit.
Yep.
Anyway, so it takes place on a submarine. It's about the Russians trying to start a war with America. They send a submarine through the...
Or is it just Trump?
Right, through the Bering Strait. So it's a submarine movie, and then they send in, like, SEAL Team 6, so it's like a action movie on the ground. And is it a coup? Is it the president? Who's being kidnapped? It's just a terrific bell ringer of a big screen popcorn movie. The kind of fare you usually find in summer. But it really was like a good story, and because there's nobody in it big enough for me to remember all their names, they didn't spend any money on actors, so it was all spent on like effects that I was like, I know that's a set, but god damn it, that doesn't feel like the inside of a boat to me.
Inside of a boat.
So it's called Hunter Killer, and it's just terrific.
All right.
I really did enjoy it.
That's fantastic. Good.
I had a friend recommend it, and she's like, "You're never gonna believe that I liked this movie," and I did. So I told my friend, Linda Cardellini is her name.
Okay.
It was hard to find her in a sea of men's names and only one woman.
She played Sam, right?
Yes. Yeah. I thought you meant Julia Margulies.
Oh.
That's why I thought it was the curly-haired nurse.
No, but a good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
But really terrific. So if you really want your $11 worth of the movie, go see this because it's Landseer Foam, and they're just doing all the things.
All the feels.
Yeah, all the feels. Yeah. I mean, it was just a terrific little like a summer movie to escape the air conditioning. And my friend at the end, he's like, these movies always get bad reviews, and this one was. He's like, I really like that. I'm like, I thought that was fantastic.
Sure.
I was mad at myself when I had to pee.
See.
But I did it when the female president was talking. That seemed appropriate.
Wow!
Well, there you have it.
I'm just kidding. I just did it because whenever you're watching those movies, the dialogue part was going to be like, do we save them or do we well, of course we're going to go save them. I don't need to watch this. I know how it's going to turn out. They're all going to decide against their better judgment to go in and save all the soldiers.
Sure.
Of course you are.
Yep.
And some turd is going to organize it. I was Gary Oldman was in it too, which I wasn't expecting. So I guess they did have a bigger star. So there was that. Game of Thrones, final season, 6 episodes, each one feature film length.
Oh,
and if you watch the show, you know how much money HBO drops like a feature length
I've never
film.
watched it. Only because it's just that is not my. There's nothing about it.
There's nothing in there that I should like it either,
you're right.
and it's just terrific.
Okay.
It is very violent, and until the white guy stops writing the source novels and they went off script, then it turns into all girl power.
Oh, because that's the Tokan. No,
but his name is yeah, he's one of those people. Couple initials.
Yep.
But once that
But
source
not
material
Tokan.
goes away, it turns into all girl power. So there really is a good payoff to everything. Like everybody's dead but the women by the time that they get rid of the old white guy that wrote the books.
Okay.
And it's terrific. And I'm kind of because I'm trying to get ready for April, so I'm watching an episode here or there. And now that I've seen it all and I've done my wiki page reading, now that I actually know who the people are, because the first time I watched it, I was always in the wiki page like, who the fuck is this dirty unbathed motherfucker?
Matthew McConaughey.
Right.
For the win.
So now I'm like, oh, I know how that goes together. And then there was a part that I'm like, who were they all avenging? Like, which one of the white dirty guys died? They all look alike. But now I'm like, oh yeah, I know who that is.
Bradley Cooper.
I know where he fits in this. I wash your fucking hair. You're the actor, the director, the writer. Pay for shampoo.
Too busy.
God damn it. Take a minute. Can somebody wash his hair while he sits there and edits? It drives me fucking
right?
crazy. So that's coming back. And then we're going to talk about, briefly, the jukebox musical. We gots to stop.
Okay.
Except for one of the early ones, Smokey Joe's Cafe, which was the hits of
Lieber and Stoller.
Lieber and Stoller,
Great
was
soundtrack.
terrific. And why? Because they didn't even bother to put a story into it. You know what I mean? It was just song, 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 cute setup, dance, dance, dance. Get me the fuck out of there. I think my mom and I saw it twice in 2 days. We actually bought tickets for the next day. We enjoyed it so much and enjoyed the music.
Smokey Joe's.
Smokey Joe's Cafe. I'm surprised that more...
I actually saw it at the Orpheum when they were here, too.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised that, like, Phoenix Theaters and places like that doesn't put that on more, because it lends itself to, like, you have some singers, you have some dancers, nobody's really got to act in this one. And then, you know, the Jersey Boys, Mamma Mia came through, you know.
Jersey Boys, I wasn't...
Yeah,
I
actually,
love the music,
and I have to
just
say that
love
I bought the
music.
movie. I saw the musical.
Yeah.
I bought it hook, line, and sinker. So as much as I want to get on my high horse and judge Mamma Mia, I got my money's worth and I liked it.
Yeah.
And they got an 11 o'clock number out of that one
No.
song.
What
so
all I'm saying is I enjoy it. Like, I love the music and I love all that, but the person who was playing Frankie in the role of Frankie was awful.
Oh, that's terrible, because he's kind of the point.
Well, that's it. That's why we were like this. It was like, shut up.
Yeah.
I want to hear those guys.
And it was funny
but I
because,
don't
you know, I enjoyed that because I thought that format was so good. And then when all the same people came back and did the Donna Summer musical, where I liked the music, and I was like, oh, I just realized that the Jersey Boys really suffered from a lot of different problems. Because when you see the Donna Summer one in almost the exact same format, you're like, oh, we're working a little hard to cram a book into this.
Yeah.
Well, Donna Summer and the Jersey Boys made it to Broadway and have stayed open. You know, the summer musical has only been open a couple hundred shows, but they're still there.
Okay.
And they got a couple Tony nominations, so they're a little bit ahead of the game. On your feet, not so lucky.
Yeah.
And you have to pick and choose. Like, where do you want your climax to be for the first act? Do you make the bus crash the end of the first act, and then her triumphant return and the hits afterwards?
That, right, Clayton? That she was in with the
because it was a Silver Eagle bus, and I actually
there you go.
know of the guy. I know of the guy who actually owns the bus, and he rebuilt it.
Oh yeah. So
love
Gloria
that.
Estefan was in a terrifying bus crash, and you know, big recovery. But instead, they became the hit and they finally got their hit record, their crossover song Conga. So that was the end of the first act, and they hit that pretty hard.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they really did.
They really did slam that one home. And then they turned, because then what are you left with? If the bus crash is your dramatic act finale, then what do you do for the 11 o'clock number? Her only song that's really an 11 o'clock number is Coming Out of the Dark. So the bus crash has to be like...
Coming Out of the Closet, but that's always just been me.
Same thing.
Yeah. Same song.
So
did they actually have a bus on stage?
I liked how they did that. I wasn't mad about how they did that part.
Yeah, they did it, you know, done with sparse staging. I'm sure on Broadway they maybe had a couple more dollars, a couple more shekels to throw at it. But this was an interesting thing of how they did it, and her complaining about being on the tour and the snow and blah, blah, blah. But wow, that second act was terrible.
And then it just stopped.
Ponderous. Yeah, and then it was just over.
And we were like...
Because I had looked, and there was a couple. I wanted to hear the Stalker songs, and she only did the one that she only did Anything for You. She didn't do Can't Live Without You or whatever the other one was called. That makes you feel like you should probably get a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now, what is that song called? And I can't stay away from you. Can't stay away from you. I ain't gonna let you
Live for
go.
Loving You.
Oh, Live for Loving You is the one that the other one.
Yeah.
La 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 la. Live for loving you.
Yep.
And that came in later, but you just knew because you're like, all right, like I feel like I've been here for 7.5 hours, and there's like 5 hits from the song sheet that's missing. So the end was just a concert.
Well, and we had gotten the music on iTunes. Awful. You know, like you listen to Dear Evan Hansen and which I can't wait for. But you're listening to Dear Evan Hansen, you're listening to Hamilton, you're listening to Waitress, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're listening to Get on Your Feet.
And it's weak.
Oh my God. Aaron said, well, they better be better.
They weren't.
They
Gloria could
they
re-
were better.
Gloria
than they
could
were
re-
in that.
I haven't had the strength to listen to the actual cast
And
album.
please don't, because I mean, honestly, anything for you, you sit there and you're like this. What's that? What's happening?
Yeah,
What's
why?
happening?
Why
Yeah.
is she singing to her? Why is she stalking her grandmother? Should the
right.
grandmother be worried? This is taking a weird turn if she was secretly in love with her grandmother
Yeah,
the
I
whole
know.
time.
That's why I was like, this is for grandma.
But
What's
on the
happening?
plus side, the grandmother was terrific.
I
The mom
agree.
was terrific.
Yeah.
Emilio was hot, and had a very nice voice.
Bootsy messaged me. He's like, "Oh my God, you should see this guy."
Aaron, and Aaron's sitting next to me, and she leans over and she goes, "Well, this is Clayton's wet dream."
Yeah.
And I burst out laughing because all it was the just right when they came out dancing.
Yeah.
And it was like, let's get Clayton here.
And the moment where the mom and Emilio have the song together, I thought that was a lovely, lovely moment. Gloria's the dancing was fun, fun, and that band earned its money.
Yeah, I
That
agree.
band kept that show alive
I
because,
agree.
and that bongo player needed to be insured because if something happens to his hands,
You're right.
It's all over.
it's
That's
all
true.
over. Because
For
I mean,
sure.
the music was terrific. If you would have just told me we're gonna go sit and listen to a Cuban band play for 2 hours, I'd have been like, that would have been,
Yeah.
That
That
still would
would've
have
been
got you
worth it.
there.
yeah.
No, but that would have been worth it.
It would have been
'Cause
worth
they
it.
really were fun, and it was.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a house band. Like it wasn't like we're gonna make it up with synthesizers. Like they had
No.
a drummer, a percussionist, a horn section. Like that band was on point.
Yeah, they really were.
They really got it done. But like Gloria kept singing like Gloria, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, Gloria's voice kind of leaves a lot to be desired
And the sisters.
too.
I mean, there were songs there were
And,
there
like,
were
every-
notes that were great, but then when the 5 people came out singing their letters, do you know what I'm talking about? Were they the letters to get her?
Oh, that was
Right?
lovely.
It was lovely, except for the fact that both Aaron and I were like this. What was that? Because there were just a couple of notes, and it was not.
Yeah.
I don't know with what you
No,
saw.
there
but
was-
it
there was
not
some-
put together.
There was
very
some
well.
there was some flatness going on. But as I always say about the Gloria I step on, like if she writes the songs,
He's so dumb.
Yeah,
I've
he
said
says
it like
that.
15
He
times.
said it for years.
Doesn't matter. I don't pay attention
Yeah.
to you. That's funny.
It is. It's from Tim
might
Duplanche.
have
It's
to
from
listen.
Tim Duplanche.
All right,
And
we'll
if
give
you're,
it to him.
some
That's
of you may
funny.
be familiar with the bus accident that she did. This is what a normal Silver Eagle bus looks like. That's the front of a bus that's
Now
not
hit it
been-
with a train.
Not been hit with
Ah,
anything.
yeah.
And then you cut to this is the front of Gloria Estefan's bus
yeah.
when the wreck happened.
Yeah, and no snowy night in Scranton, Pennsylvania. No one secured down in their seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that like
And the fact that
no one
their
was
son
hurt that
was-
badly, yeah,
Yeah.
is kind of a miracle. And the fact that she ever walked again, like,
Yeah.
Now,
and like we want to know about her opioids because she is the last one I'm worried about.
There you go.
I want to know what she's taking. Is she doing strength exercises? How is her back?
so now I'm wondering, because of all this, there was a wreck. She, the comeback and all this big thing with her.
Is it a man?
No.
You look
No,
like a man.
no, I wasn't even going there. I'm wondering if we're ever going to get something out of Barbara Mandrell. Because Barbara Mandrell was in a wreck in a
Oh,
Jaguar
that's so
in
right.
Nashville in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, and that's why she disappeared.
I don't know if that's why,
No,
but
she got
I'm
fat.
just wondering if
She
we're
got
going to get
hippie.
Sleeping Single in a Double Bed back in a Broadway show
Oh, you never know.
with 2 other
So-
girls playing her sisters. One has
It
to be
could
the
be.
dumb one.
Totally.
Arlene.
Oh Jesus.
Arlene Mandrell?
I forgot there were sisters.
Okay, by the way.
Was it all
did
her?
you
Or
guys
they
use
really?
the
No, there were
best
3
at-
sisters.
Yeah, 3
Okay.
sisters. Did you guys watch that show? I did.
Oh, I did.
religiously.
Croft Puppets. I had to watch it. I love that show.
Oh no.
You
Yeah.
did.
Because
Did you see the look of disdain on his face just then? He's like, oh.
I don't like it. I don't like your
Oh,
attitude.
no.
Oh no. There was nothing about Barbara Mandrell that was going to lure me to a TV.
Oh my God, it totally did me. And apparently him.
Oh, I totally.
Yeah.
Yep. Louise Mandrell.
Louise, yeah.
Dark hair. Arlene
She
was the
was so
blonde.
pretty,
And
yeah.
Louise Mandrell was
I
beautiful.
did beautiful,
Had
yeah.
a brief solo career for a while.
I
then
just
nothing.
assumed it was her playing 3 roles.
No.
It was some kind of acting.
No,
ploy.
at one shot, they're all 3 standing on stage. They opened the show together.
Yeah.
Lisa Kudrow plays both. They're both on screen.
That's
God.
not. That's with modern technology.
God.
The 70s didn't have that.
I was at the. Wasn't that the 80s?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Whichever way.
That's right. That's right. Oh my God, I used to love that show.
I was never 100% sure if Samantha's cousin on Bewitched was her or not.
Serena.
There were times when
Really?
I knew, and there were times where I like,
Oh my God,
maybe
were you
that
doing
is
the
just a
drugs then?
lookalike actress.
Were you doing the
Really?
drugs? You're being for real.
No, but I think it was a testament to her acting that every once in a
Ah.
while
So-
I would, most of the time I knew it was her in a wig, but every once in a while she would do something and I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is a whole nother actress and this woman's not getting her due.
Huh.
But it was just once in a, it wasn't every time.
You know it was two different Darrens, right?
Absolutely.
Dick York and Dick Sargent, very different people.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But there were, especially in, and I don't remember if she was in the black and white episodes, but in the color, because I really thought she was an amazing actress as her career continued. I thought Elizabeth Montgomery was a terrific actress. I think she could have had Jean Smart's career had she, stuck around longer to be appreciated.
Smart.
Died.
That's what I mean. But had she, had she like been in the time where older actresses are getting like meaty roles, like Judith Light and Jean Smart keep getting these fantastic roles, even though they're like older than any actress that's ever had a role before. Oh, and Jane Fonda too is getting them now too. Like I really think that Elizabeth Montgomery would have.
I always
But
liked her.
so
Yeah.
here's my thing, Candace Bergen.
Oh yeah, and it's so funny because now it's been so many years since I always just thought that.
So for those of you wondering, here's Elizabeth Montgomery playing two characters. There's Samantha the blonde and her evil, is it a sister or a cousin?
I think it was a cousin. But she
Cousin-
wasn't evil. She was just more fun.
Mischievous.
Right,
Mischievous, if you will.
Mischievous, yeah.
Mischievous, yes, in the dark wig. But
But it wasn't always. Most of the time I thought, okay, that's just her in a dark wig. But every once in a while I'd be like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm not getting that right.
gotcha.
But
Yeah, that's fantastic that you had that. I love
where
it.
did that squeak off to, that conversation?
We were
I don't
Candace
remember.
Bergen,
Candace
Bergen and Jane Fonda.
I always assumed that Candace Bergen was just playing herself as Murphy Brown. And now that she's done so many other roles and I've
Right.
seen her in interviews, and now she's come back as Murphy Brown, and that is a definite character. Like that is definitely choices that's not her. That really is something that she was playing full tilt and playing well. Like
Right, and I was talking to Mom about this just this past weekend. I was like, I always thought that, because I didn't know a lot about Candace Bergen before, and then Murphy Brown originally came out, and I just thought that was basically her playing herself.
yeah, that's what
Totally
yeah.
always thought that.
Even though I knew her from other things, and like I always say, like, how did they find out she was funny? Well, on SNL she's hysterical, and she was on there a billion times. But you know,
yeah,
she's
she
in,
does one thing with Gilda Radner, if I'm not mistaken, or Jane
yeah.
Curtin, one of the two early.
I think
early
she's
on.
the first one that hosted 5 shows. I think she's
Oh.
the first.
Oh, right.
She's the first of the 5s. And,
That was hysterical.
But she's in I mean, that's starting, and I've talked about it a million times, starting over with Burt Reynolds. It's supposed to be Burt Reynolds' Oscar-winning movie, and it was his, like, vanity project.
Yep.
And Jill Clayburgh is better than him,
God, I
and she
love
got
Jill
her Oscar
Clayburgh.
nomination. But Candace Bergen steals that movie because you don't remember anything. I have no idea what that movie was about, except for Candace Bergen as his ex-crazy wife that wanted to be an actress and a singer, and she was terrible at both. And
And she was gorgeous. When she was young.
She was, because she started off as a model, and then she was a photographer. She's in Gandhi for all the things. She's the
One of her brothers,
Really?
Charlie McCarthy.
yeah. She's the
He's so stiff.
Beautiful.
but she was a famous photographer. Like she
Sure, right,
she kind of
right,
left
that's
it all
right.
and became a photographer, and then they kind of used both talents, and she's in Gandhi. She's the American journalist that kind of follows him for a little while.
I don't remember that. I'll have to go back and watch
Yeah,
that. 'cause
yeah.
I
She's got a lot of little roles through the 70s and 80s where she's terrific. But then anytime you can find her on SNL,
Yeah.
she's brilliant.
Well, and when she was just on there, it was just so funny because at first I was like, oh, because it seemed like, you know, I think nervous,
Yeah.
right? Kind of tripping over things. But then it was almost like you could tell Barrymore was just like, you're good.
Yeah, you got
Go
this.
ahead. And then there was just some great timing and she was wonderful on there. That was so fucking funny.
Completely diverting, but I have a
And
question.
the only one who had any fame or any, like, knew what she was doing. Like, she was an actress, a model. Like, she'd been in front of the camera. All the rest of these people were from, like, improv troupes.
Sure.
Who had
Yeah.
never been in front of a camera, didn't know anything about a TV show. And all of a sudden they had someone who grew up on television. And I'm sorry to say, she was a little ahead of you on that one. No, but
No.
she probably...
on one, not in one. Very different.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
I want to
he was
say,
in a
though,
radio.
that he started on radio, didn't he?
He was in a radio.
Yeah, but she grew up in radio
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah, of course she did. Back in that era.
Yeah, I was trying
Not
to. I was
in
trying to
one.
think of where he
No,
came
because
from
before Edgar Bergen
Yeah.
was on
on TV.
TV, he was on radio.
in
with
that radio,
the same,
just like you.
Yeah,
That's right.
he
Just
was.
like you.
He was.
What a great comfort that
He
must
was
be.
down a few blocks from me. Question though.
2 radios down.
Just a bigger radio.
Well, tubes were
No,
different.
no.
I was more
Size
transistor.
queen, yeah.
I saw because I rarely ever go to movies. So when I did, I booked my tickets obviously through the AMC website. Yada yada yada. Wonderful things and wonderful experiences happen. Then they're hitting me up with this thing, and I just was curious what your take was on it. The $20 a month, 3 movies a week thing.
Oh wait, now is that through
AMC.
AMC? Yeah.
But I'm like, how is that a bad deal? Now
It's not a big deal. You got to see a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But $20 a month,
Yeah,
and
but
you
I
get
think that would
you
be
get
a-
3 times 4 is 12 movies a week. Simple math.
Yeah, if you
Or
go
12 movies a month. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you go see enough movies, and the problem with it here in Arizona is that your art movies, your things that are coming out for the Oscars
Are excluded?
are, well, they're not excluded, but it's Harkins that plays them at Fashion Square or
Oh.
Shea 14. So when you get into Oscar season, you have to wait a while for the movies to get to an AMC, unfortunately. Like, because we get those art movies. So that's the only thing that kind of kills us here in the Arizona.
Gotcha.
We get burned by that little bit.
Wasn't sure.
I enjoy the fact that there's a picture of Candace Bergen on a Sirius XM satellite radio show, and she has a free Melania shirt on. Because she went on a date with Donald Trump that was like
Yes.
a horrible date. But anyway, that's just, she's enjoyable. Yeah, and I'm with you, Harrison. I'm enjoying it as well.
So yeah, she hit
Yeah,
the 5 times club.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
And poor Quirky.
Oh yeah. The only thing I is a little uncomfortable, and I need to get caught up
Mm-hmm.
is the son, who I've liked in other stuff, and I
Yeah.
find
Oh.
that a little.
Now, look at
Yeah.
that. Look before and after. Or when she was
Right,
much
right.
younger.
Like absolutely.
And I don't.
gorgeous.
And that's not even a current picture of her on the right of that screen.
No,
That's
and quite frankly,
but
both
still looks
of
great.
them, I mean,
Love- yeah.
beautiful as a
Lovely.
young woman, but lovely as she's aged. I mean,
Yeah. So she hit the 5 times as of 1990,
oh,
but I think Steve Martin may have gotten there first, because Steve Martin was often on there as well.
Because that's the big thing they all joke about is the 5-timers
The
club.
5-timers
That's
club.
what they all joke about.
But they didn't give her credit in one of them as being part of it, and they got a lot of shit for it.
Oh.
They when they did the first time that they played the game of the 5-timers club, they didn't have her there, and I think it was maybe Justin Timberlake's where they brought out the jacket and everything and made the joke about it. They were
right.
like, "Oh, we keep forgetting there's a woman,"
Oh.
and they brought out,
Okay.
and she was like, "Bitches, I was here first." 'Cause
Yeah.
she, if I'm not mistaken, she was on there earlier than Steve Martin, but Steve Martin was on there quite a bit. And let's just end this bullshit about, oh, the glory days, and it was always funny. What they do to stop that myth, and I think this is why they're doing it, they may have a different thing, but they play a vintage episode opposite
yeah,
the real one every week. There's the new episode or a repeat of this season, and then a vintage episode. And sometimes they'll go with timely events, like when Leonard Cohen died. Like anytime someone dies, they found Tom Petty.
Right.
They'll find an episode that someone was on and make it current, and they don't need a lot of warning, and they don't advertise who's on it. So they'll change it up to be like Prince's appearances or someone's appearances that's died. Those aren't all winners in the 70s. Like, sure, it's Gilda Radner, and sure, it's that, but there are some things that land
Some groaners.
flat and
Yeah.
do not play out.
Yeah.
There's some, like, short films that aren't great. Like, those were
not
not...
everything was the Lubners.
not
'cause
everything
that
was-
the Lubners were
No, because
funny.
everybody remembers they always show the greatest hits. They always show the
Right,
greatest
and everybody
clips.
was like, "Oh, it's perfect." It wasn't perfect, and the Lubners, and then when they finally found out, and as soon as they found out
Lisa
that
Lubner.
recurring
Little too
characters
much on
worked.
That was awesome.
Oh, and I hate that fucking Bumblebee sketch. Oh my god.
Oh, I know.
Every time somebody tells me about the glory days of the 70s and the Pepsi,
Yeah.
No Coke, Pepsi,
cheap
cheap.
bigger. Oh, that's not funny. That's just experimental comedy that like does not appeal to everything. It's not funny.
The only reason
Oh,
that I
the
enjoyed,
cheap bigger sometimes gets funny, but that samurai one
Pepsi,
is
Pepsi.
never funny.
The only reason any of
It's
that
like the
is funny
Cosby
to me
Show.
is because of my dad. My mom and dad and
Any
I
show that
would
you
sit
did it
there.
afterwards.
Yeah.
There was one
Yeah.
skit on there in like 79 or 80 where it was Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd. I think it was Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd. And they're just staring off into space, and there's nothing to it except for saying, what the hell is that? What the hell? What is that? And that's the whole skit, and it goes on way too long, and it was not funny that day.
Right.
But the next day in like gym classes, we're all like outside of 66th Street School, and
Right.
we're like,
What
what is that? And then everybody did it, and it became like this classic. And now that I've gone back and watched it on YouTube, I'm like, there's nothing funny about that except for the next day, all of
Yeah.
us doing it or doing the Chibi Girl.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
And what is it? No Coke, Pepsi, or whatever they
Yeah.
used to say.
No Coke, Pepsi,
really,
chips.
anything Gilda Radner.
Just
Oh,
about.
Jesus Christ.
Roseanne
What's
Rosanna
Rodana?
Dana,
What's her butt?
and Lisa Lubner, and then what was it? Emily Litella.
Emily Latella.
Miss Emily.
Oh
the
my God.
teeny
What did
tiny
they do?
Kingdom.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Tish Tanner used to do.
Violins on television.
That's
There's
right.
Too much violins.
Tish
on
Tanner used to
television.
do the Teeny Tiny Kingdom as in a skit where she'd sit on a chair and she'd do the whole story time, the whole
Right.
thing. And the prince had a teeny tiny itty bitty.
Oh, he had like, Jesus Christ.
What? Who? What?
Steve Martin had like 10 by 1991.
Yeah, because wasn't that the
1,
big
2,
rush
3,
between
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Con Harrison?
He had 8 by 1980.
Thanks for joining us, honey.
Good
Bye,
night.
Harrison.
Yeah, but
We're
wasn't
about
that
done
the
anyway.
thing where he and Alec Baldwin then kind of got into
it, and then John Goodman is the secret one that has a
right.
lot more than you remember.
That's right. I do remember that. He
But-
just looks awful.
But Steve Martin was practically on that show because he hadn't gotten really famous. When he first was on there,
the tut,
yeah,
the funky,
the
tut.
funky tut, buried with his donkey.
Well, if I'm not
I
mistaken-
really dig that honky funky tut.
King Tut was premiered on SNL, if I'm not mistaken.
That's That's like he was almost
yeah.
part of the ensemble.
Oh,
He was-
buried
in his jammies, King Tut. I love that.
Going to Miami,
King
King
Tut.
Tut.
It was so stupid and
It's
so
stupid.
funny.
Oh my
so
God.
funny. Oh my God.
And we had that album.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah. I mean,
It was De Rigger, and that
And
with
why
the,
wouldn't
Yes.
you?
with
And
the
why wouldn't
arrow
it?
through his head, whatever that one was called.
Yep. Yep. God damn funny.
Mm.
Yeah. Yep. Funny
Oh,
stuff.
can't play that because I googled King Tut song.
Uh-huh.
The second it came with Saturday Night Live's website. Anything you play off that, as we learned from the Adobe car,
No.
they will silence the
Yeah.
show. Toot
Got it.
sweet.
9,
So
10,
forget it.
11. He has 11 uncredited appearances on SNL.
Steve?
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. Well, and that's why it's so difficult listening to, or not listening to, but hearing Chevy Chase say anything derogatory. A, he was on there a season.
Yeah.
And B, the end.
Yeah.
Like, what is his thing? And
And
you
that
know,
first season is all him, too.
it is.
Because John Belushi doesn't get any, nobody gets anything to do but him.
Right. And then
Oh,
he
and Jane
leaves.
Curtin is in
Jane
what movie?
Curtin.
She is
Oh,
terrific
funny.
in.
Current movie?
Yes. Can You Ever Forgive Me? Did we talk about that
Oh,
movie?
no.
How good it was?
You talked about it last week.
Jane Curtin is her agent and funny, and looks terrific.
Oh.
Like Jane
Oh, I
Curtin.
love it.
Oh yeah, she looks just as good. And how many different ways she can tell Melissa McCarthy to just go fuck off
Oh
of
my
you?
God,
We're done
that's
with you.
great. Well, and have you? So there are a couple of things, entertainment-wise, that I have questions.
Oh sure, I'm here to answer your
I
question.
know you
I
are,
have not
darling.
much presented, so please
I know.
ask your questions.
Well, I will. So, have you watched The Cool Kids?
Mm-mm.
I have not. I have them all recorded, but I have not watched them yet.
So it's David, what's his face? Grow.
Vicki Lawrence,
Vicki Lawrence.
Oh,
Leslie.
Leslie Jordan.
Yep. Yep.
I can't remember all the characters in it, but
And it's David Austin Greer. Is that his
oh
name?
yeah, I think that's right.
Or David Greer, whatever.
Oh, I see. Jane Curtin has short hair in the movie. That's her.
Oh, I love it.
uh-huh.
Anyway, I laughed my ass off, and it's just stupid. and it's just.
Mom says it's great. It's a great show.
I love that you
You've
love
almost
it.
got that right. David Allen Greer.
David Allen Greer.
You're combining 90210 with
90210. I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Yep. David
Martin
Silver.
Mull, Leslie Joran,
Yes.
Vicki Lawrence. I just heard it because I'm months behind. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm months behind on my biblical readings. I'm
course.
very behind on Entertainment Weekly.
I have
so I
to tell
just
you.
saw the commercial for the show on last week, whatever day we saw. Yeah.
It
And then Kat
is-
and I
honey.
talked about it. Because we were thinking that it was supposed to be an all-gay show, and then they kind of like tooled it around.
No, and it's just smart, and Vicki Lawrence gets to just be a smart ass, and
Which there's always time for.
I know, and the thing is that I love, and Mama Di, I don't know if you can attest to this or not, but I think, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think I've only watched one full, the first one, all the way through, and I have a couple more to watch now. But remember on Carol Burnett, how they would all bust up, like they couldn't fucking help it because A, Tim Conway,
Yeah.
and B, Harvey Korman.
Yeah.
And take everybody else out of it, but those two, because Harvey Korman could not.
No.
With Tim Conway, could not. So he'd lose it, and then a domino effect. So that's what watching this is cracking me up, because I'm paying attention and I'm listening, but then you see Vicki Lawrence kind of like, and it's not live.
Yeah.
So that is cracking me up.
That they
they're
keep
keeping it in
But neither was
there.
Carol Burnett. They kept those in on purpose because they enjoyed them so much.
Oh, that's
Carol
fantastic.
Burnett. They filmed 2 versions.
Okay.
And the,
I didn't realize
and they
that.
would get the bigger laugh out of like whichever one they got the bigger laugh out of, and it was always the one.
Where they're cutting up.
Yeah, but it was because it was so organic, and Tim Conway would never tell Harvey Korman what he was gonna do.
And he'd never do the scene the same twice.
So yeah, the second one was never the same.
Never
and,
the same.
and that's my theory on Schitt's Creek, is
Okay.
that because it's so much of it is improvised.
Comes back in January.
Because so much of it is improvised, I think that David makes all those facial expressions because he's trying not to laugh.
To mask his laughing.
Yeah, he's just
Okay.
trying not to laugh at at Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara,
Like
sure.
I think and legitimately killing me too. And I think he has to sit there so many times and keep a straight face. Well, what smell like? What is that episode?
Burning.
What does burning smell like? And you can just see it, like, and you think, oh, he's having all the emotions. Nope.
No, he's
David,
not.
what does burning smell like?
No, or which is like this
Oh
one.
my God, is this not your mother's recipe?
Yes, and now I'm passing it on to you. So try to keep up.
But it occurred to me somewhere near my like 18th time watching one episode, I'm like, oh, he
He's
can't
just
do
gotten
it.
up. Sure.
He can't
Sure.
do it.
Which
so
is
it looks
fantastic.
because he's
Right.
Because I'm like,
But
There's
it,
a way to play it
but it
off.
adds to his character
Yeah.
because
oh, it really does.
the
'Cause you don't know
uncomfortableness.
if it's sarcasm
Yeah.
or horror, but it's all the things
both.
underneath this.
Right.
He's like, am I ruining the take? Like, you
Yeah.
can just see it on his face.
because David's
Good
character,
stuff.
he thinks he's way up here above everybody else.
Yes.
So to have to deal with the stuff that he's dealing with,
He's like so
just-
elite. Like
yeah. So to have to, I am so
Funny.
happy that they're
Well,
coming
it's
back.
August and you're still in that sweater, and I think it's got leather in it. That's
so
the one where
funny.
I caught him.
Yeah.
That's the one where I caught the facial expressions, and it came from the boyfriend, and I was like, oh, he can't get that.
Yeah.
Like, he can't get that down. They must change what they say about that sweater
That's
every
funny.
time.
Yep.
So now I want to buy the DVDs and see if there's outtakes.
Sure. Oh, wouldn't that be fun? On that show, my God.
You know what I
God.
mean? Yeah, to get the DVDs and find out, like, please let there be.
Right.
And I don't know why, but I can spend days in the rabbit hole of Will and Grace bloopers,
Yeah.
Friends
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
bloopers.
agreed.
Well, come on, Jack. Just Jack.
Oh,
Just fucking funny. Just funny. The other thing was you were talking about Bill Maher, and you didn't go where I thought you were going to go.
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand. Uh-huh.
A terrific interview. I need to find out if they did an overtime. If you watch Bill Maher
I
and you don't
think
know about
they-
overtime,
They did, but let me look.
and everybody, all the guests don't always come back. The people that have the separate interviews, but he did like a separate format for her where the third person doesn't come out and interact. They had a one-on-one interview held on the other side of the stage so she could be facing the other way.
Oh. Of course she did.
She's had a little
Yeah.
bit of work done,
She
so
has.
she looks like a cat.
Yeah, she does.
And
Her
I'm like,
eyes do.
oh, sweetheart, you can't act anymore with that face because they've frozen her. But
Yeah.
every once in a while, she would get animated enough
Yeah,
underneath for
yeah.
have it to like come out as a facial expression, and you'd be like, "Ooh, there's Barbara."
There she is. I see her. I see her.
Like that's
She well, have you watched her with James Corden?
yes, that was delightful.
It was delightful.
That was
I mean,
delightful.
all I could
And
think
I
was,
thought-
he's like,
Oh,
if,
yeah,
if
that
this
was.
is how I'm gonna go, then I'm good. Is
Right.
Barbara okay? You know,
the 3 times
Yeah.
that she couldn't pass her driver's test, and
Yes.
the fact that she tells, and she's been saying it for years. I just sit at home and eat,
Yeah.
and
Right.
she's so honest about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
And-
James and I were gonna go out, but then we decided to sit. And I'm like, is he as fat as you are now? Not that she's happy. Not that she's happy.
yeah.
She looks good, but
Yeah.
she needs to stop with whatever they're plumping her up with.
Well, I think that
They're injecting way too much of
They
it.
did the eyes. It was just doing the eyes, and they the bags.
They like
Or, like,
froze
the
her
oval-
in time.
And I
like, they
don't
did
believe
something.
she didn't drive an inch in that video. She
Oh
sat
no,
there.
she did.
I
They
think
drive.
that she did.
They did drive.
I
A
was
lot of
watching-
shots of that are it's on a trailer because it's above the other car lines, way above.
No, she according to
Yeah.
what they said about that, because people asked that and they said no, she really drove.
I would
And that's why when she was like this and like took her hands off, that she was like, and that he was kind of freaking out. I was cracking up.
Yeah, that she really.
I'll watch it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, that she.
But you might be right. I mean, maybe.
No, but you can Google that, and they ask, "Is she really driving?" Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of times where they think they're not, but
Yeah.
they. I guess it's just the neighborhood outside of Studio City or
Yeah,
wherever they are
they
that
kinda
they
go
just
in a
really
circle.
go around the
Television
block,
City.
Television City. That they really just go around the block. It's not a big drive, and they do clear some traffic for them sometimes.
Oh.
And oh god, if you there's something about why she had to drive and not him.
Probably because of sitting.
No, because it's not about the angle of her face. It was something silly about.
Contractually, like there was something.
Control.
There was just that she was under the impression that they drove. Like it was kind of like when Madonna went on Will and Grace. I don't think she'd seen one before, and she thought she drove. So, and I think that's like she had to get her driver's license back.
Oh.
Like she,
Yeah.
so she was like, "No,
Oh,
fuck you,
that's
I
why.
can drive." Like,
Because
Oh.
she failed the driver's test. The
I
3
have a
times.
feeling that
Okay,
she was
the
under the
written.
impression that carpool karaoke she drove, and that's why it's her car, not his. It's not the usual car or anything. Like,
Yeah.
it's
No, that's true.
it's her car. Like she and I
Oh, that's her Land Rover because they
Yeah.
always do Land Rovers.
but I think
I
in
don't
this
know.
case that's her. I have to watch
Oh.
that. There's a
Yeah.
We
video
have to
about
double check
it.
that because no, all he ever drives is Land Rovers.
Oh,
Oh, I'm going to tell you, I didn't realize that.
didn't either.
All
The
every
Broadway
vehicle.
one, I didn't think was. I thought
Almost-
it was just a car.
I think every single one, even
Yeah.
when he was in Europe for
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, another Land
Oh,
Rover.
okay.
The
Oh,
whole
wow.
thing is
they're British.
yeah right.
But the off topic, the SNL, Pete Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
Yes.
What did you think?
I thought two
Yeah,
things.
and so
Well, actually,
yeah,
3
for
things. Go, we'll
Anybody
do-
that with
So Pete Davidson was
Dan
going
Crenshaw.
through he was going through politicians and kind of being shitty about how they looked or something
Absolutely.
about them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This
And
was
he had
2
a-
weeks ago.
He
2
had a
weeks ago.
Right.
really funny part of a joke about him looking like a pirate on a porn set or something, but
Dan Crenshaw has the
Right.
the iPad.
Missing an eye.
missing an eye. And
I'm just telling for the
Oh,
listeners.
I'm sorry.
but he
That's
did
okay.
he did the whole thing about the. Well, I know he went to the war. Like
Yeah.
it really was something that somebody just needed to work with him on cutting that down
Yeah.
and making it the joke about looking like a pirate
Right.
on a war. You know what I
Right.
mean, on a porn set. Funny joke.
Yep.
Just fucked it up.
Yeah.
But the nice thing was, a week later, after a lot of controversy and everyone trying to build up outrage
Yep.
about it, which kind of granted, it landed
Sure.
it landed wrong.
Yep.
But the fact that the one that was like, don't.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just laugh at it. It's a bad joke. We all make bad jokes. We've all been down that road
And Pete Davidson does that
all the
a
time.
lot. Right,
His humor
right.
is so weird.
weird. Yep.
So they did all that. Well, then Dan Crenshaw came on SNL, and they were together on
Yeah.
Weekend
Right, and he-
Update. And it was terrific to see them doing it. And
Yep.
he said, like, I've been, you made me look good. Like,
Right.
you elevated
made
my status.
You made people like Republicans or be on the Republican side. Whatever.
Yeah, for just
Yeah.
a day last week, the Republicans had one good day where we were all behind me.
And then his phone rings.
Oh, right.
Oh, Ariana Grande song.
And
Yes.
it was so fucking funny.
And that was the one you
And
could
he's
tell
like,
that Pete.
I better take this.
And the fact that Pete Davidson didn't know that was coming was
you
just.
could tell. It was wonderful. Yeah.
And then all the jokes he told about how Pete Davidson looked, and
Yep.
it was very tit for tat. It showed a great sense of humor in this micro aggressive
Yep. I agree.
society.
I thought good because that
Good on
puts it
them.
all to rest. Everybody shut the fuck
And
up.
it shows that everybody can have a little bit of a laugh. Like,
Yep.
just laugh a little bit, even when it comes off wrong.
Right. And I know that everybody wants to go, but I have to ask you guys, Clinton 2020.
No.
She's already said yes.
But you're just asking my opinion. I said no.
I know. I'm just no. I'm saying that she has said yes. I mean,
I love her, so I'm all for it.
I love her too, but I'm
do
like,
too.
But
Me too.
I want Corey. I want
Oh God, I thought you were gonna say Cory Booker.
Cory Booker, Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
There's so many other things to do. Uncle Joe, bring some serenity back to the world.
But that was, I think, surprising.
But on the other hand, I think there's going to be 45 fucking people running for president.
You're right.
I think it'll be just like the Republican side, right?
Yeah,
Right.
just like the
Last
Republican
Like
side
last
last time.
17 people, I think it was.
21, I think, at one point.
Oh, maybe it wasn't.
Oh yeah, oh god,
ridiculous.
it was everybody but us three.
The clown car. Yeah. The Republican clown car. And I didn't mean to shut you down with that. I just meant like, because I...
Oh, no, I knew I had heard of it. I knew that was
Yeah.
that had come out, but I'm like, no,
Yeah.
come on, girl.
Erin and her, sister had not heard that yet. So
And-
that's why I thought maybe,
But I can see her easily coming back again and being a Secretary of State again, or some other thing that she already had did. Or
Attorney General.
Sure. Whoa.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be that.
And it just seems very egomaniacal to me if she were to do that.
But Reagan ran 3-4 times, lost a few.
Yeah.
Bush the first ran 3
We
times.
can't have Trump again.
McCain ran 3 times.
Again,
I
I
don't
don't
think she'll make it through, honestly.
Okay.
I really don't.
I don't think he'll make it to the end of the term.
I think one of her biggest mistakes
I'm
was
with
Tim
you,
Kaine.
yeah.
Like, I really thought she should have done a double woman ticket.
Or Cory Booker.
Or I really think the Tim Kaine. And you have to campaign in Wisconsin.
You're right.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining us in the chat room this evening, as you always do. Thank you for being with us.
You guys are wonderful.
As we wrap up tonight's show, we'll leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday.